Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Semi-Perfect Podcast. The date is June 27th, 2018. The story is now. Joining us here tonight, we have Saberspark.
Hi.
Laura.
Hello.
Sarah.
Hello.
Paleo.
Hello.
Hirosashii.
The city of Townsville.
And of course, the person who does all the work for this podcast, me.
Uh-huh.
What?
Nothing. Nothing.
Really? Nothing? I deserve something. Welcome in. We have some fun old topics to talk with you folks about. First, we're going to be jumping into our typical. Do we have food posts, Sarah?
We have some.
Hashtag SPP Foods.
Send those in. So we've got one from Nikki D. SPP Foods, dilly having some beer, and we'll be doing some art that will give you guys. I will give you guys at BronyCon. Nice.
Ooh.
I just need to know what everyone's favorite MLP character is, except ACRacebest. I got something else for him. All right. Well, do we want to go down the line? Name our favorite characters. Mine's Applejack.
Judy Hopps for me.
Yeah.
But she's at the nudist colony.
Don't all jump in at once.
Mine too.
Don't you like Sunset Saber?
Yeah, Sunset's pretty great. Yeah, Sunset.
Did Hero just say Donald Trump?
So don't all jump in at once.
I completely heard Donald Trump, but I was like, okay.
My favorite pony. My favorite pony is
Mappa.
Applejack.
Anyone else have a favorite pony?
Paleo, how
But
about you?
My favorite's
I can't-
Twilight.
I can't have the same favorite as Sarah though.
Yeah, you can.
You can. It would be
Can
one of
I?
the few times that Applejack is the top of this list.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah, give her what he deserves. Well, give her what she deserves.
Um, all right. Well,
Hello? There we go.
Yeah.
Did we lose you?
Laura
there?
said hers is Princess Luna.
Okay. Nice.
Surprise.
Saber, do you want to give a serious answer for yours or nah?
Sunset.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry.
How dare you?
Okay, Sunset, but for real, who?
Which one?
So-
really?
let's see here. Red X posted a food post. SPP Foods is the hashtag. Says, got a date with my leopard gecko. Hope she likes caramel. I know I do. Those are really good M&Ms. Caramel
Yeah, they
M&Ms.
were saying in the chat earlier that they just got that gecko.
Yeah, what the heck? Like, who just gets a gecko?
What kind of gecko is it?
A leopard gecko?
Is some character from a show that animal for some reason? I feel like they were
Probably.
Oh, is this something we watched recently? Shit.
a leopard gecko.
Rescuers Down Under.
Because Vinny's not a leopard gecko, right?
No,
he's just a gecko. For some reason, the word leopard and gecko just really seem like they should go together, aside from
'Cause
just
I-
the name of the animal.
Oh, I know we watched something recently that has like
Yeah.
a leopard gecko in it.
Whatever.
Oh, no.
Might be overthinking it, actually.
This is going to ruin the rest of your podcast because you're going to need this out.
What was it?
Ross Pitt. I took it right from you. Says this is from last time, but I was too late, so I'm posting it again. That is a bag of popcorn.
Nice.
Yum.
I don't know where you're seeing these because I'm not seeing them.
Yeah, because you're not on the latest.
I am on the latest. That's the whole problem. I see. Oh wait. Okay. Hold on. Wait. Hold
There's
on.
one order when it comes to
One
latest.
second. Hold on. What was tripping me off is there's like one of those ad things, and it was labeled for like June 21st, and I'm like, I was just like, oh, okay, well that's the end of the line.
Heck no.
Okay, now I'm seeing all of these
Heckin'.
food posts. Duh.
Jazz King. It's got the audience. Got some poutine with extra bits, just the way I like them.
The bits.
Yeah, is that like a thing that's actually a thing? I thought that was just a joke.
Yeah, that's right. Sunset had a leopard gecko.
How did you even? I would not remember.
Where did-
I saw it in the chat.
Oh, okay,
Sunset
okay,
had a
gotcha.
leopard gecko.
Oh, I
Yeah,
honestly.
she does have a leopard gecko in the
Thanks,
equestrian
guys.
So funny. That was also Sunset. I can't talk. Never mind. That was also a sassy song.
David says, grabbing me a bag of Cheetos Paws and a fan art of Princess Daisy in honor of the new Smash Brothers game.
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool. I've never had Cheetos Paws before, but they look delicious. Reckless. In the name says 1 month until birthday cake. I don't know what that means. Barbecue chips and Pepsi today. Nothing says welcome to the school holidays like the semi-perfect podcast. You got that right. Here's hoping this week doesn't confuse you lot like the last few weeks. Thank you. We had some internet issues last week, but so far so good. Knock on wood.
Was that wood?
That was my
fake wood.
Yeah. Well, IKEA wood. Does it count?
Sure.
What does I know? We already read Nikki D's post, but what does dilly dilly actually like mean?
I'll look it up.
Like dill pickle?
Let's see.
As voiced by Tara Strong.
According to dictionary.com, the origins of dilly are in a shortening of the word delightful or delicious. Probably from the 1930s.
Oh my god. I'm going to say my food was dilly from now on. Can't stop me.
Can you just say one dilly? I mean, I feel like 2 dillies is necessary here.
Yeah.
'Twas dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Indeed. That's how I'm gonna, Sarah. We need to go out to eat tonight, just so I can say that to whoever serves us food.
Dilly dilly.
Would he actually
Dilly.
do it too?
Yes.
Oh, I gotta tell you guys how I got snookered the other day.
That sounds incredibly inappropriate.
It was incredibly inappropriate.
Let's
Lizzie
hold it
Diamonds,
until we're done at the okay.
Yes, says enjoying my favorite cereal, oatmeal squares, and probably getting too hyped for BronyCon while watching tonight's semi-perfect podcast. As if you could get too hyped for BronyCon.
No
You
such
can't.
thing.
No such thing. Oatmeal squares.
I'm about to look it up.
Those are
Oh,
good.
it's a
Love them.
Quaker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Quaker.
really good.
Quaker
It's
cereal.
healthy. And by healthy, I mean not
Huh.
healthy.
Oh, they're not healthy.
By
Okay,
healthy,
I was
did you
actually
say?
a little interested.
It's better for you than like rice or not Rice Krispies. Like
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oreo bites. Oreo for a second. I'm like, what?
Because
That knows.
It's better for you than chocolate cereal.
I'm a little interested in oatmeal. I haven't really tested the waters with it, but it seems healthy for you. So
There's a couple directions you can go, at least where I went. Oddly enough, and it sounds weird to me when I say it, so my mom would make me oatmeal as a kid, and we used to put a little bit of milk in it, and then sugar. And so, in other words, I took what was healthy and then made it delicious. No, but yeah, I think some people eat it with cinnamon and whatnot. Aha! Railroad Brodies. What is it? Ready for the semi-perfect podcast tonight. Got my Nana's homemade flour tortillas with butter and lemonade. Homemade flour tortillas sound good.
Nana made? Oh, that's Nana made. You know, that's some good stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nora says frozen pizza after a long day of work on South Beach, and no, I didn't get to swim in the ocean. I is a sad mermaid today.
Mm.
That
Hey, look.
Ruined my name.
You know, if mermaids actually existed, I'm pretty sure humans would have hunted them down to extinction. Just what
Oh
we
yeah.
do.
Oh, yeah.
So, in other words, you're
What we
saying
do.
they probably existed.
Atlantis, preposterous. It doesn't exist. It's a fable. Grandpa, what's that girl with the fan doing over the fireplace?
Cosplaying.
We've got Cosmic Melody, aka Laura, posting a food post. Udon soup. Looks good.
Yeah, she made me a bowl.
Nice.
What?
I'll be honest, I actually was about to ask, like, oh, you know this person? Because I didn't realize you changed your name on Twitter. I was like, who's the Laura? We have a Laura here. Oh.
Cosmic Melody. What was the inspiration behind that name?
I like they smell like singing.
Okay, I like it.
Nice. Very
I was
good.
gonna Saberspark, but no, sorry.
Railroad Bronies also has another post. Wait a minute, Laura is eating the soup and so is Saber. Wow. How is it?
She's making me a big bowl.
Oh, that's
She's shaking her head back and forth like, nah. You're on your own, boy.
You told me stopping by Jersey Mike's no I know.
I got a salad.
He did not stop there. Don't put words in his mouth. Put food in his mouth.
Put food in my mouth, thank you.
Yeah. Railroad Bronies says, I could do 2 good food posts, right? I just got more food from Jim's Burgers. Anyone here know Jim's Burgers?
Nope.
Where's that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, Jim Gizrael.
Wow. Yeah.
I feel like you could make a good burger. Like honestly, he seems like the kind of guy that could make a banging burger.
You know, I actually had a moment today where I was editing and I just kind of stopped and I was thinking, you know, I would love to just grill out and throw a football or a baseball around with some people.
Wow, you are becoming America.
Like seriously, I'd like a nice cold beer and just grilled some burgers. I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious. With a nice blue sky and kind of maybe the afternoon and nice cool breeze
After
and
church on Sunday.
after church, jump in the second time.
Bombs
Yeah.
bursting in air. Gabriel.
Oh, I have a question for the chat after we're done with the food post.
All
We're
right, well,
almost
we
done.
got one more. Quiet Storm says, first time doing a food post for the podcast, so be gentle. Behold a pizza from the ancient land of Walmart Deli. And yes, I put a little more cheese on it.
Wait,
Interesting.
Walmart
Is the
has
more
pizza?
cheese? Wait, because I was looking at this pizza and I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen a pizza with Colby Jack on it, and it,
Yeah.
so that's
they
probably
did
what
add-
they put on. So I
You
wonder
know, it's
how that
interesting.
tastes.
Probably whatever they like. Europeans, Asians have some pretty crazy pizza from what I'm told. Like Final Draft was telling me that they have like mayonnaise and peas, and I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yeah, no, that's wrong. That's not like...
The thing that makes me like gag a little bit, I'm sure people love it because it's sold here. But like when I go to the frozen pizza aisle at like a grocery store, they're like, "Here, have pizza and cookies." I'm like, "Ew, at the same? No, those do not go together, in my opinion."
It's a combination.
Apparently,
Not cookies on pizza, but like there's
like
the-
next to them, but
Yeah. They come in the same package, but you just cook them separately.
Mm-mm.
Huh.
No, thank you.
Saber, what were you going to ask the audience?
Actually, it's more of a question for us. I'm not sure if we want to wait until later in the podcast if we have things we're
You're
talking
gonna
about.
forget though.
Yeah,
All right, well, here's the
There's-
question. Sarah won't forget. My question is, you have $1 million you have to spend within one day, and technically, and you have, and the thing is, by the end of the day, the money disappears, and you can't invest it. You can't, like put it into stock or whatever. Like you have to spend it. So we'll save that question for later.
Okay.
Okay.
I already have an answer for it.
Zootopia.
Okay. Zootopia.
Yeah, he'd fund the Zootopia land to be built at Disney World.
Oh, yeah, for $1 million.
$1 million.
Well, we built the Judy animatronic. That's it. That's all I need.
No, well, I mean, it'd be a considerable contribution.
He would definitely fly to Shanghai and then pick up that JD Plus.
So we'll come back to that then.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Okay, cool. Sarah's got it down. So I got snookered since we're talking about food, and getting into like how the last 2 weeks have been. Today's Wednesday. Was it yesterday, Sarah? No, it was Monday.
It was Monday.
Monday. Sarah gets an email from Red Robin, because we're both part of the rewards program with Red Robin.
Oh, I see that you too are a gold member.
Oh, you know it.
We are a royalty member.
Extra blue cheese. And she got an email saying, "Hey, it's today.
Come get your free shake.
Come get your free milkshake."
Yo.
To which Sarah's like, "Dude, there are free milkshakes at Red Robin today because we have rewards member people." And I'm like, "Nice." And Sarah's the one who's like, "Let's go." And that's why I love her. And so we go, and as we're sitting down, I go, "All right, Sarah, so here's the plan. I'm going to order my milkshake. You order yours at the end of the dinner, and I'll get 2 milkshakes." And she was so on board with this. And I'm like, yes. Well, I downed my milkshake, salted caramel milkshake. Delicious. We have our food. It's all great. And then we're about to be handed our bill, and we're like, "Oh, by the way, can you put in for that other milkshake?" Yes. Oh, okay, I'll go do that right now. Then we get the bill,
Uh-oh.
and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, the milkshake didn't come off of mine. It came off of Sarah's, but it didn't come off of mine. So I asked, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, we had that problem earlier with someone else." Well, it turns out that only some people got the free milkshake thing today, and I was not one of them. And I was like sitting there with my second milkshake of the day going, I deserve this. I couldn't have just been happy with one milkshake, which we could have just put on one bill. No, I had to go for the goddamn second milkshake.
This is the thing, though. Like, listen, you're just an engineer who works for a well-established company. You don't really have much money to throw around, so
No, that's what. Well,
let alone money that could have gone to more important things, like your
Zootopia stuff.
Like, I was gonna say the wedding, but never mind. The Zootopia.
No, and here's the best part: is Sarah's sitting next to me, like I'm still like going on, like, dang it, I shouldn't have gotten that second milkshake. And Sarah turns to me as we're driving home and goes, "Are you seriously complaining right now about having 2 milkshakes? It was like $5. Enjoy it." Okay. Yeah. We did kind
finish
of
both of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How?
So I looked up on MyFitnessPal, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Calories.
Don't
Did
tell
you
him.
have a burger and fries and blue cheese as well?
Oh, I had extra blue cheese.
Jeffrey, how are you alive?
How many calories did I?
And that's
consume?
coming from me.
It was a monster shake, by the way. It was the large shake.
Oh no!
Well, Paleo's less than 600 calories in his entire body, so like he's scared.
My burger was like 900. The blue cheese was probably 900.
What happened? Do you remember back? You don't remember because you didn't exist. But like a few centuries ago, it's like the crops will come in and we can eat maybe for a month, and now we're like, blue cheese on the milkshake. I deserve this.
I deserve this.
I've been working hard. God, it's so,
You deserve a
man,
vacation.
it's terribly sad because we watched on Netflix that series where it's like why diets fail, and they kind of preface with like how throughout human history, like we didn't really ever have a surplus of food. It wasn't until just recently that we fucking got great at harvesting food to the point where we don't have to hunt it, we don't have to harvest it, we just buy it. And my
Our bodies
God,
are built to maintain as much weight as possible because we don't know when our next meal would have been. But now,
surprise, surprise, it's gonna be in about 10 minutes. I mean, I love food. I absolutely adore food. It is one of my favorite things ever. But my God, It's gonna be my death someday. I'll be in my deathbed eating a cheeseburger and being like, "You won."
Give me that second milkshake.
I think this is a good segue, actually.
To what?
To another thing. So because I had so much wonderful caloric intake in the last 2 days.
Good man.
Sarah and I did a workout last night, and
Good man.
we do these what do they call, Sarah? Like 7-minute
Yeah,
stomach.
they're like the 7-minute
things.
workout things that we do. We
So-
try to do often.
You all did the dirty, didn't you? Just be honest.
So this is where I'm
This is
kind
actually-
of going with this.
Did
No,
you
so-
your rewards card for that too, Race?
We were
Your gold
doing
member.
we were doing a fat burning exercise, and literally like right at the end of it, we hear a knock on our door. So we're like both
Yeah.
kind of like sweaty and all that stuff, and so like we're
I'm not
scrambling.
wearing like I'm like in my apartment wearing wear, which means I barely have shorts on, and yeah, this guy's knocking on our door at 9:30 at night, which I'm like, that's weird. And so Sarah, of course, being the brave one of the two of us, answers the door, and I'm like coming out from the hallway, like still putting on a shirt. Now, the guy like clearly sees that not only are we both like kind of sweating, I'm like
But-
obviously getting dressed very quickly.
Yeah, and also when Jeffrey came up behind me, and when he was like behind me talking to this guy, all I hear is, and I'm like, wow, you're really not being subtle.
You should have just doubled down at that point and just I don't know, like
Start doing it right there.
So yeah,
Have
I'm
a-
pretty sure that
just, like,
guy
throw a
thought,
box of condoms across the room and be like, "I'm ready for round 6."
I
yeah.
told Sarah as I was shutting the door and the guy was walking away, I should have just been like, we were having sex, and just shut the door. Like Sarah was the one who like turned to me right at the end of this conversation and was like, well, you really sold that.
what did he want though? I'm curious. What did he want?
He was looking for a person that he was trying to deliver a package to, and he was like,
Oh yeah,
"Hey,"
that was a porno if I ever heard of one.
and he was like, "Hey, do y'all know if like this person such and such lives at this store right across from you?" And we're like, yeah, we don't know what his name was, but there was a family living there, blah blah blah, and they just recently moved away. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there was talking about this reminding me of a clip I saw, and I shared it with Paleo, and I'm not sure if it ever made the rounds to you guys, but someone posted on a You Laugh You Lose thread where it had this clip from his porno with this guy singing while he was having sex, and here's the best part: he sounded just like Gabe. Like,
Oh, that one.
verbatim. He's like,
Oh,
"Now
my
I'm in your ass." And I'm like, it's
kinda
Gabe's
nuts.
brother.
His
Like even
brother?
in the picture, he kind of looked like Gabe. It was
Terrifying.
It was a hoot.
I like it. Did you just say it was like it was Gabe's brother?
No, twin brother.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm sure he doesn't
I
appreciate
love
that.
Basic? It's like, oh, okay.
We've got a
How,
lot of ellipses in the chat right now.
Who's in the chat right now?
No, just everybody's putting the ellipses ... because I think
Good.
Oh dear.
All right, so we talked about milkshakes and sex. What's next?
Yes. Well, how's everyone's last 2 weeks been? Anything of note? Any exciting things happened to anybody?
I
We went
have
to a wine and lavender festival.
That was nice.
Wine and lavender?
Yeah, the winery has like lavender fields on their property, so they have like a big old festival when they all start blooming, and then they have like some lavender vendors show up and sell like lavender products, and you can do wine tasting. And there were a lot of dogs. It was great.
There were these old ladies who had a choir group and they had a booth, and you can hear them all singing together and like around. It was really nice. And if my phone was working, I would have walked up to them and go, "Okay, listen, all right, listen to this song and try to recreate it." And it was going to be the Halo. Oh, And I was like, wouldn't it be great to hear a bunch of old ladies singing that? And it wouldn't work because we're out in the middle of nowhere.
Aw.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It was fun. It was nice wine and cheese and pizza.
Got your cheese plate.
Yeah, it was nice.
Cheese.
Oh, I love cheese.
Cheese is great.
Yeah.
Cheese,
See,
imaginary friend.
Hero, do you like cheese?
Melted cheese is a gift from the gods.
Everyone in this podcast loves cheese. We know
Oh.
It's so amazing. There's so many girls in my life that just can't do cheese. Like this doesn't sound. This is probably just obviously a just the pool of people who I can like, or the group of people I can pull from. But like the girls in my life either fucking love cheese or they do not like it at all. There's no in between for me.
I feel like that's just everyone in general, though.
Wait, Sarah, do
Yeah.
you not besides the fact
I
that
do
you
like cheese, but I can't have
actually
it.
like it? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you and Laura need to like trade one like
One gene.
the liking of cheese versus not liking of cheese. Like, why couldn't you have just been born to not like cheese, Sarah? You would have been like, whatever.
She's just rubbing it in even more. Come on.
It's cheese isn't that.
You just. Alright. I had an exciting thing happen to me just like an hour ago. So I bought my own Minecraft realm, and I've been building the nice land apartments from Wreck-It Ralph in it.
That's awesome.
And I tweeted it to Rich Moore, and he loved it so much that he was compelled to get on Minecraft, and he's gonna apparently try to build it himself. So
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm very excited to see what
That's
he
really cool.
manages to do, because that took me about 4 days to build, and he thinks he can get it
Yeah,
done in
Sarah-
one night.
Sarah's all excited that, because this was his tweet. He goes, yes, this is awesome. Okay, you've inspired me to jump back into Minecraft and build this tonight. Screenshot to come. And of course, Sarah's sitting here going, oh, uh-huh. We'll see you build it in one night.
We'll see what you can do in one night.
He's going to cheat and use, like, his, like, filmmaking software and be like, aha, I'm done.
But yeah, that was a cool thing.
Probably going to pay an intern to do it. But yeah, that's neat. Always fun to interact with the people that make the movies that you love. Yeah. Anyone else got anything exciting?
I recently became affiliated with Twitch.
Nice.
Yeah, since I started streaming a lot more, I got an affiliate, and I'm starting to stream like every Tuesday to Saturday.
Nice.
Except for today, that is, since I'm on the podcast.
Oh.
And I also saw Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Yes, did we?
We almost saw it last night, and then we didn't.
That's fine.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about it with you when you see it on the next podcast.
We'll probably.
Yeah.
So I think what we're gonna start doing is offsetting like a week or 2 or 3 between when a movie comes out and when we'll talk about it. Like tonight, we actually for those of us in the chat, which I hope is everyone, we're gonna talk about the Incredibles sequel, but we'll also have a spoiler screen up for anybody that's perhaps watching or in here that hasn't yet seen it or doesn't want to talk about it. And then probably next time on the next podcast we'll talk about Jurassic World and stuff. But
Yeah. But yeah, I've been getting like way back into Jurassic Park again, as far as like the lore and junk. So
Yeah.
Oh, the lore and
The Lord.
I thought you said
Yeah.
the lore and junk. With Lauren. I was like, was Lauren on this movie?
Lauren
I don't know.
and junk. Lauren, yeah. Yeah, we were going to see it, and then it just was a little bit busy, so we're like, we'll see Tag instead.
The movie is
How was that movie?
wait,
It was-
Tag?
Yeah, it was enjoyable, actually. I
No,
really
because
enjoyed
I was
it.
thinking about seeing that because it looked very funny.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
it's funny.
I gotta intervene for a second before we start talking about The Incredibles 2.
Okay.
So, actually, this is a way for me to determine about my week. So, working on videos, just kind of just grinding away. There's a series.
Yeah.
Okay, so
On what?
Huh?
What? So I there's a series. Oh, Lammy got comfortable. I just scared him. Lammy, I'm sorry, dude.
He's moving out.
It takes like 10 minutes to get his nest just right before he sits down. Now I just spooked him. I'm always on the hunt for new things to watch. Somebody recommended a month or so ago, a show called Gaither's Pond, and it is a Christian animated cartoon from back in the 90s, computer animated, very poorly. Gaither is the name of a family of Southern gospel singers, very well known in the Christian fandom.
Community might be the better word. I don't know, but fandom's fine.
Oh, it was that tweet.
But isn't that what the religions are? Fandoms?
Yeah.
I feel like the word fandom works. I mean, I'm a Christian. I can say that.
So there was a tweet that was like, or who has the most annoying fan base, and someone just said Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Religion in general typically has some pretty shitty
You
fans.
go ahead.
But humans are just shitty in general. So no matter where you go, there's gonna be shitty people. All right, aside the point. So, speaking of shitty, the animation's terrible. They try to model all these characters after the Christian singers who voice them. So you get some really, really uncanny valley looking shit. But my favorite thing about it, though, is there's another series that they did called The Homecoming Kids, and there's a segment from one of their episodes that literally had me crying with my heaving. I clipped it and put it on Twitter because The Homecoming Kids is like Sesame Street, and the kids are all they're all white, wearing jean shorts and jackets. And with one black kid, I mean, that's just the token black kid, in every sense of the word. They're I imagine they're do we know any black kids for this? Are there any black kids living in Indiana? So they and without fail, in all 4 episodes of this, there's the one kid who changes every episode from whoever kid is acting for this role. But there's this one kid who's the nerd. And they really hate him. He'd be like, "Well, a bird flies by yada in English, Poindexter." And I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you guys?" He's being knowledgeable. There's even an episode where
learning is stupid.
Well, there's an episode where they go to the zoo and where knowledge is important, and they start singing songs about creationism and how animals are made, and completely looking over the dinosaurs. And I'm like, listen, this is the wrong place to do that. You're at the fucking zoo. You got these biologists who are dying on the inside watching because they have an act who are wearing shirts that say it's called God's Zoo. But then you have the actual people who work there in the background just looking like, what the fuck are they doing? And there's 2 jokes. So the part where, because the entire zoo episode, there's this old lady who I'm sure is dead by now. She's like, "Hey, you kids, make sure you don't pollute, or I'm gonna have to be hard on you with the rules." And the kids are like, "Okay," but one of them kids, I guess, left some trash out, and they're like, "Oh no, the trash got into the dolphin tank. Sadly, the dolphin's gonna die." And the old lady is petting the dolphin with the zoo trainer besides her, and this little kid walks up going, "Are you okay?" And the old lady goes, "Oh, I'm just watching one of God's sweet animals die. How can I be upset?" And I'm like, what the fuck? It's just so random. There's a great blooper that they left in the episode where the kids are walking into the SeaWorld section of the zoo, and you got this one kid who is ushering them in, who works at the zoo, and this little girl just stops walking and just stares at him for 3 seconds, and she goes, "Thanks," and then she just keeps walking. It's so bad. But I bring this up because they have a puppet. It's made me think about Sarah, that looks like Gonzo, but it has feathers and it sounds just like Gonzo. It's insane. And they also have this giant donkey who's a person in a suit running around. Oh my god! It just I feel like I found gold. I love it, and I ordered one of the animated series because I couldn't find it on Twitter on the internet. anywhere. But I found it on Amazon as a VHS copy, and I ordered that shit, and it just arrived today. So I gotta figure out how to get it over. Like,
how to transfer it to
I have a VHS player.
I don't know. I just gotta figure out how I can transfer it over.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed.
Yeah.
Maybe a capture card.
There is a way, like using like the composite like output from a VCR into like something that you can get.
I'll have to buy that fast.
Like digitally transfer it.
It looks terrible because it's called like the Lure Depths or something. It looks terrible. I'm excited. I'm excited. And the Homecoming Kids, I actually might do as a separate video, and it'll be the first time I ever talked about something that's live action. But I say all this to finalize my thoughts with. There's the one thing that made me laugh was this. When they were going to the zoo from their treehouse, there was this terrible animation. It looked like somebody made it in Microsoft Paint, and I mean, I mean that. I could make something better.
Yeah.
And it has them go across the screen with this guy named Mark Lowry, who's a Southern gospel singer, screaming at the kids because he's driving the car over to the zoo, and the kids are just screaming. They're not cheering; they're screaming the entire way. So these kids screaming with him going, "Shut up! Quiet! Homecoming kids!" The thing is, he's saying "homecoming," but he keeps getting like blurred over with the kids screaming. So he goes, "Coming, I'm coming," or something like that. And it's like just the most funny thing ever. I love it. And I can't wait to review it.
Oh dear Lord!
Sorry, quite the rants.
Real quick. Speaking of terrible movies and whatnot, we just did a Let's Watch the other night.
Yeah.
And my question is, because I know that you hit him up on Twitter, but did Mark Hamill ever respond?
No, I know sometimes he responds to people. I think when Rhapsody Kids came out, that's like the Christmas one that he did. There was such an outpour of like, "Wow, I can't believe Mark Hamill was in this," because that was lost media, and Rhapsody Kids is worse than Dinosaur Island. It really is. That I think he eventually had to respond to it. While Dinosaur Island, it's like not as much on the radar. I mean, I'd love it if he replied, but like, I feel like for Mark, if you want him to reply, you have to catch him at the right moment. So
yeah. When he's
on the toilet.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I real quick, I just saw this picture. I posted it in our chat, and I was like, "Oh, that's so sad." It's a picture of Jeffrey the giraffe with like his luggage packed up.
Well, he's going on a big vacation. He's got like vacation wear on. He's got like a Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses and a hat, a Panama hat.
Is that what he looks like now?
I guess.
Wow, is that Panama Matt?
Oh my god.
Does he look like the same kind of like shirt?
It's exactly him.
Shirt and his hat, and he's tall.
I have hold on, I gotta switch screens. I gotta show people on the chat.
That's pretty great. He's like, I would like it if that giraffe had like a cigarette, and he's like, "See ya, kids."
Wow. So
I was told that a big reason why Toys R Us went under, besides the obvious of like just the market dying, but like the CEOs were insanely greedy and they hoarded a lot of money, and like a lot of the workers were left out. Like,
yeah, they it's the same reason like Circuit City went under, because like the management was just so bad.
Oh
it makes me sad. Those are the folks who ruin humanity. We're like, I'm not gonna be here for long. I'll just fucking sink this ship and take as much as I can before it sinks. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, fuck you. I'll be hit by a car.
I would very much like. Apparently, Canada has it. I'm sad. Like, I'm jealous of Canada here.
And that's not often.
There's like a bricks store where you could just walk in and buy like a motherboard. It's like unheard of here.
There's a thing in Atlanta or around Atlanta called Micro Center, and it's really popular.
Oh yeah, like, Micro Center. Yeah, that's also a lot. There are a lot of those in Canada too.
They're spreading. They're great. It's like a Toys R Us but for computer parts, and they're always like
because
they have actual like legitimate like parts that you can.
Because I've never seen anything like that on the.
Why do you want to talk over Sabers?
Because Well, to be fair, I talked over him back, so we're both kind of like we're slugging it out. But you know, but
So are you
the
gonna
dinosaurs are gay.
Anyway, but yeah, Micro Center. Like I haven't really seen anything sort of like that. At least in our state. I know on the West Coast, you guys have like Fry's Electronics, which that
Fry's
has a lot more
Electronics?
stuff.
That's a
Huh?
weird name first.
Electronics.
Oh, I thought you meant
Fries
like
possessive.
French fries and electronics. Like,
No,
I'm
no,
gay.
Fry's Electronics, like
Apparently.
FRY like
The
apostrophe.
most ambitious crossover.
Which one is a more interesting crossover? Fries and electronics or quills and sofas?
What a brony.
I just texted that picture to Matt, so we'll see if he'll respond within the podcast.
What a brony, says the guy who made Ballad of the Okay.
You know what's funny is when I first called it that, I called it Ballet of the Brony by accident.
That would be a better video.
No, I thought I spelled ballad wrong. I spelled it Ballet. And I was like, Ballad of the Brony.
No.
And I was like, wait a second, this is wrong.
No, this is a Ballot of the Brony. BALLOT.
Oh my god.
Ballot? No, palette of the brony. It's a food show. It's Cheetos, please. So I'm gonna add something to what Sarah and I have been up to, by the way. Last week Sarah and I went out to Newport, and
Went to the vendor fair and taste testing for a wedding
all
venue.
of a sudden I paused.
The
'cause I was
words
like-
just
Yeah,
escaped me.
well, because I was thinking about Father's Day. We did some stuff there,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah. So checked out some wedding stuff and doing all that. So
It's coming together.
coming together.
That's right, Skeeter. We're gonna get married, Skeeter.
So I honestly have found how much that like weddings are awesome when you're the one getting married, because I got to go and just eat every food because they're like, well, do you want this? No, but I'll eat it now. How much is this one? Oh, too expensive for me. Well, let me get a double dose of this before I leave. It was man, it was so nice going, and they were like, no, this is food for you to try everything.
Boo.
Did you say that on purpose? You said that on purpose because you're you.
Yeah, I did. But yeah, it was there was a cheese table. Going back to our cheese conversation, that's what kind of reminded me of that wonderful moment. But yeah, so now Sarah and I have our wedding, or excuse me, our menu for our wedding all figured out, and vendor stuff taken care of. So it's like we're actually gonna get married.
You'll see this picture of Miss Incredible.
Yeah.
Can we talk about this?
And
What?
Laura's response to it.
I'm very so. It's really cool at the wedding, like, because I think like just gorging yourself on like free food, like smart. I agree.
Yeah, but let's talk about Miss Incredible.
Yeah, look at this picture. So can you show it? Is that part of the costume, or is that lady really just that thick? Holy
No, that's part of the
fuck.
costume.
the costume.
The little kid is like, whoa.
Judy, like I'll just put it this way: if you know we're using the terminology of thick, you'd say the same thing about Judy.
You know, I don't think Judy's thick.
Well, I'm talking about her walk around. What do you think, Sarah? Would you define the Judy Hopps at Disneyland as thick?
Oh, that
Sure.
character.
I guess.
I feel like every single person at Disney's thick. Like who does the
Everyone's
walk
thick.
around.
Look at Mr. Incredible now. Now we're talking
Mr.
thick.
Incredible's got like a Hank Hill kind of deal going on. That is not thick.
Can you imagine that thing running out at nighttime down the dark alleyway, chasing after you, just like, Cookie, just sprinting.
I hope they make a joke that like Violet is also walking around, and they're like, "Yeah, but we can't see." Oh.
Let's talk about The Incredibles too.
Okay, let me put up the spoiler screen.
Let's do it. Since we're talking
So
about thick
while the
characters.
spoiler screen is up, we
Now,
will be
wait,
talking
real
about.
quick.
Yes.
Go on.
we will be talking about The Incredibles 2, so if you have not seen it and you do not want to be spoiled, just meet us and keep watch on the screen. Once the screen goes down, we will not be talking about Incredibles anymore, and you are safe to.
So the scene when Syndrome punched Violet in the butt was
inappropriate.
So this movie has been a topic of discussion. It's another sequel on Disney's and Pixar's belt, and something that Brad Bird worked on. He's the one who worked on the original Incredibles. Pale, chime in, by the way, because I feel like you know a lot more than I do. Lasseter helped to do some producing on this one. Personally, the movie I thought was okay. I didn't think it was fantastic, but I thought it was pretty good. Favorite parts were the action scenes. This movie is so much fun with the chase scenes and the fight scenes. They're so creative. Like you're always in for a treat, like with the action in these movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm even open to a third one and I'm sure they will because right now it's making a fuck ton of money. So I think it will happen and hopefully. But the plot was kind of weak. I wasn't really crazy over it. I'm like, nah, because some plots can be predictable. Well, this one was predictable and kind of like, I'm like, oh, okay, that's.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was predictable, but also kind of pretending that it wasn't predictable.
It treated it like it wasn't being obvious about things, and I'm like, no, you are.
Yeah. Because there's another thing about it, because I saw Jim's review about it, and one thing that, because I was confused, like, after I saw the movie, of like, why don't I like this as much as like everybody else seems to? And one thing it seems to be is the villain itself, mainly the idea of the villain, because the ideals of the villain don't really work into the story that much, compared to something like Syndrome's ideals.
Syndrome made the first movie. He was my favorite part about it. Like
Frozone.
Well, Frozen was great, but like, by the way, some folks were saying on Twitter like Frozen should have his own spinoff, and I'm like, that'd be interesting. They won't do it because Pixar doesn't really do spinoffs.
I don't know if it would warrant. If you warrant.
You know what? Since they're doing a freaking Big Hero 6 show, they should do an Incredibles show.
Yes.
That could work.
Frozen show.
Same objection. Okay, sure. I'm not doing that. So,
uncensored.
It just makes no point.
So the most powerful aspect of the storytelling for The Incredibles is family. It's superhero family, and that's something that they never want to lose sight of. That's what makes it stand out.
Yeah.
And they kind of maintain that in the second one with like Bob taking care of the kids and with Jack and his changing powers and what's the girl's name, Violet's adolescence. So by the way, I felt like Dash was barely in the movie. He didn't do really much of anything.
Yeah.
And then Violet was kind of, I'm like, yeah, she's just pissed. That's it. Just angry teenage girl. And then I felt like Jack's powers was kind of just like, that's it. Like, I felt like y'all were working up towards something, like something big at the end.
Yeah, he became a pistol.
Pew pew. Shoot up the place. Put it in your baby holster. But what did they call crib? But yeah, I mean, overall, it's just kind of weak. I don't know. As soon as the villain was on screen, I think a lot of folks were like, "Well, there's a villain."
Yeah.
There's one moment where I was like, "Okay, maybe it's not," but then it's like, "Wait, no, maybe it is." I don't know.
I even felt like there were moments where they were kind of giving you the, "Oh, see, it can't be one of them."
Yeah.
Because they do it very specifically when Mrs. Incredible is going after,
Screenslaver.
Yeah. And they cut to a scene where they show the brother and sister sitting there to show like, well, look, they're not there. And I remembered seeing that moment and going, this is the part where they're trying to tell us that's not who it is. And I've read several reviews now that I've seen it, and a lot, like, it's not one of those things where oh, I totally knew, because like I always see people say this where they're like, oh, I knew who the villain was in this movie. Oh, it was obvious in that movie. I'm somebody who doesn't try to connect dots before they're like given to me, like, oh, that person's probably it. No, that person's probably it. Because I like to let the movie tell me the story, and how it's presented, as opposed to like trying to see if I'm right. And for this movie, like, I'm not somebody who will say, oh, I knew that was the villain or it was obvious. But for this movie, from the moment the character came on screen, I went, oh, that's probably it.
Especially like what especially kind of tipped me off of that she was the villain is that I never saw her in any trailers. I only saw her in like a clip that I had watched, and I was like, oh. She's like apparently the twin of the
trailers.
Like, yeah,
she looked a lot like the auntie from Big Hero 6 to me. Well, it was like, I got that vibe.
Didn't someone compare her to the girl in Megamind?
Yeah, the woman in Megamind.
Yeah. I will say this. When we've had this discussion with other people about like, oh, what did you think of the movie? My initial response to sum it all up is it wasn't as good as the first movie to me, but that's not saying it was bad. It's
not bad at all.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie. You want to hear something interesting from me? No. I actually enjoyed Monsters University more than I enjoyed Incredibles 2.
Oh, absolutely.
I love Monsters University.
Why does MU get such a bad rap?
I don't know.
I think it's because like people
it's so random.
Because people see it as like, oh, this is just an animated college movie. But
which they did a lot of homework. Apparently they watched a lot of oh god, what are some of those there's a lot of those classic college movies. Animal House are really creepy, to be honest. But they took the good parts of it and they made it work. And
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
I mean, at least Monsters University had a pretty unique ending to it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I like Monsters University. It's just so random. It's like, what, a prequel about their college? Oh, okay. It worked. It was good. I liked it. Incredibles 2 had some great action. It looked fantastic. It looked beautiful, but just a weak story to me.
Fun fact about Monsters University for those that don't know. That movie makes an appearance, kind of. At least us viewing it makes an appearance in a vlog because we saw it together when we went to Fiesta Equestria one year, whatever year it came out. Yeah.
So 2013.
Yeah.
It's 5 years ago now.
Good times. We also went ice skating, and it was disastrous.
We also went to Dickies.
Yep.
Next to a state prison. I remember that.
Yeah.
And it was just as good.
It was near state prison, and there was an airplane taking off. And I'm like, what? Is someone making a great escape?
So I want to just make a really quick point. It's not perfect, but like, if you look in the chat, I just posted a picture. The Incredibles 2 logo, like the black part, looks like a battle axe to me.
Yeah.
Huh.
You know, it's funny. I was looking at an article that had like Easter eggs and like little tidbits listed that were included in Incredibles 2, and I thought it was interesting because, like, you know how at the start there's the castle thing, and they had a different design for it, so it looked like 70s. But the interesting thing is that all the lights turned off in the castle except for the the front door and everything, and it made the eye with
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool. I fucking love artists.
You didn't notice that?
I didn't notice that at first. I didn't notice that.
Oh,
Oh, shut up. Leave me alone.
I just figured you're usually much more.
I usually am, but I did not pick that up.
Yeah, you have an eye for this stuff much better than I do usually. Sarah's like, did you notice this? And I'm like, huh? There was a second Incredibles movie? But yeah. No,
so this is completely random. Really random. Though I mentioned the state prison. I've been recently watching a show that I really like, and it's weird because it goes against everything I typically like in the show, except for a couple of things. Super Jail. I've been rewatching Super
That's
Jail.
really good. Yeah.
I
Is that the Adult Swim one?
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't like gross out humor at all. I hate blood and guts and farts and poop and all that stuff. But Super Jail does that, and for some reason I'm wired to that stuff. The animation is so fluid. They go all out with their stuff, and
Mhm.
throughout the series, like or episodes, it feels like a Waldo book with how much shit's going on, and just seeing how people like going
Yeah.
to battles. And I was like, whatever happened to that show? It was canceled. And I watched the last episode today, actually, and I was like, "That's it, huh? That's how it ended. All right." And
Woody's Roundup.
What's that?
Like Woody's Roundup.
Woody's Roundup. Come on, get your boys. I liked it because throughout the series, there's that one gay couple, and the thing is, it started off as background characters, but then they kind of became their own main characters. I thought it was the cutest thing ever. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Because also, like, you have Alice, who's a trans, and I love her. I think she kicks so much ass, and it's like, cool. They had a character who was trans, and I like really supported and loved before that even became more of an active movement in recent history. Though I'm sure that in other folks' eyes, they might not see the same way. But I was like, yeah, Alice kicks ass.
All I know about Super Jail is the hey, wait, you cannot escape. Never run away from the time police. You will not
Yeah, that's right.
I love that bit so much.
Yeah, it's
So-
great.
Real quick, are there
Any
any
other?
other thoughts on Incredibles 2 before we take the spoiler screen down?
I
I'm
had
not
fun
sure if
watching it.
someone- Oh, I'm sorry. what?
It's worth my $10.
I'm not sure. Sorry.
No, you go.
I'm not sure if what everybody said at the very beginning because I was in the bathroom, but I like couldn't enjoy it enough because I thought that Bob's character was just such an unbearable asshole.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
He
my
was
God.
a jerk, wasn't
Wait,
he?
Thank you for bringing this up. Okay, I felt like Bob went from being like just fine in the first movie, and they're like, no, we need to like have like an anti-sexism or pro-feminism like super statement in here, so we're gonna make Bob an asshole.
Yeah, it's like it's all of his like character from the first movie kind of felt like it got thrown out the window just for comedy purposes. Because it was like, oh, let's make it like a thing with Jack, but it's like he didn't care about his kids as much as he cared about, or his wife as much as he cared about being a superhero for himself.
Yeah.
And it's like that was kind of the thing in the first movie where it was like, oh, like, you know, I'm stuck in this like routine of like being a normal person, and I just kind of want to get back into like, you know, what I did when I was young, and like he had that thing, and we went through that whole plot, and then the second movie picks up exactly where the first one left off. And it's like, hey, remember how you trusted this random person who told you could be a superhero again? Well, now trust this other random person who told you could be a superhero again. And he's so blinded by it. And it's like, dude, you just did this, like, in the last movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he, like, is so into it that he's like, oh, I don't want to take care of the kids. Oh, my wife shouldn't get to do this. I should get to do it because I'm more important. It's like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
Like, who wrote this?
I felt like they like it almost feels like they were going for something else, but it wasn't coming across. Like I got the impression that they were trying to play off the comedic side of like not him necessarily being like a jerk about it, but being like, well, I want to go play, so to speak.
being like upstaged.
Right.
Yeah.
And instead though, like it totally was being played into, and there was even that like conversation between whatever her name was in the movie and what's the
Evelyn.
what was the thank you, Evelyn and Ellen. And where, you know, they were kind of having their like, Sarah, you and I had a conversation about that particular moment in the movie, and I'm trying to remember what you said, but like kind of how, oh, you actually compared it to the scene in Zootopia, where Bellwether and Judy,
Yeah.
spoiler alert,
Well,
another villain and hero conversation that they don't realize they're having, but it's weird because it totally it did just feel like they decided, you know what, we need to have Bob act like that. Like, it just felt unnecessary. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
why did he have to be like, oh, my wife? Why my wife? It's like he respected her in the first movie. He never doubted her in the first movie. All of a sudden, it was like, he's like, what? Why do you want Mrs.? Why would you want her? What? I was just, you're right. That was probably my biggest rant from this movie, is that
Yeah,
it just,
like it took me out of the whole movie because like I couldn't get invested in anything because I was like, wow, he's just such a dick now, and I don't care.
stop being a dick, Bob.
Yeah.
Stop being a dick, Bob.
Honey, I'm Helen. I talk all the side of my mouth. Honey, I'm a
sounds like a female Jeff Goldblum.
Welcome to Jurassic World, Bob.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that did bother me a little bit as well. He's like, "That's great, honey." I was like, "Are you that mad, my guy? Like, she's your wife. Be like, that's great, honey. Like, wholesomely, please." Like,
Haley,
I'm happy for her, maybe.
Huh?
Who would have fight? The Indoraptor versus Bob?
Well, probably Bob, because he's like a superhero. So.
Okay.
Well, only if
Yeah.
Bob's superhero career is on the line. Because if his kids are on the line, then he's not going to be as into it.
Like that. I do like that one meme where it has Bob going, "I can't. I'm not strong enough." And someone had the post of like, when I beat my meat for the 5th time in one day, and it's like, I can't. I'm not strong enough.
I'm not strong. Yeah.
No, sorry, nothing.
Yeah. No, I
Actually,
oh.
since you're talking about it, sorta. The bow short, because that's also swirly
yeah.
technically.
Yeah.
There's
some controversy with that.
There is. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it after I realized what was going on.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a legit what the fuck moment watching that. I
When she-
turned
Yeah,
to
I have
Sarah.
many of those.
I was like, where are they going with this?
So-
Yeah.
And
so-
she was chewing.
Something I've noticed is, so in typical fashion of social media, it blows up. Because the short itself, really pretty, cool character designs. I mean, there was that brief bit of confusion where I'm like, is that a lady or a guy? I couldn't really tell.
Because I thought it was a boy, like it was the guy's son.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe it's because we're not very familiar with, Asian
Yeah,
fashion.
because there was like a huge age difference there in the character design. So I was
Well,
like, wait, what?
We don't know that. We don't know that. It could be just inspiration from the person who made it. And I forget her name, but she was one of the, I think she was the first female director for a short for Pixar,
Yeah.
which is pretty great.
Right.
What? Oh,
Huh?
they merged.
Nothing,
Sorry.
we're good.
Sorry. So basically, people have been saying like, because there are folks on both sides. You got folks who are like, "Wow, this is a stupid short. It doesn't make any sense to me. I hate it." And it's like, oh, okay, teach their own. And then you have folks who are like, "This wasn't made for white people," and it's like,
Oh,
that's,
jeez.
oh, come on. All right. There's a middle ground here where it's like, it's really cool to see this culture, and it's really neat to see other folks who aren't just white guys making stuff, because we get to hear their stories, and I think that's really neat. But don't tell me it's not made for white people. Like, that's kind of,
Welcome to the internet.
like, I mean, I'm not saying like, I mean, I can see someone who's like of another culture, and if that's going like, okay, here's my chance to really share it with everybody else and for it to resonate with my people. That's cool, but don't make it seem like white people can't enjoy it too. That's like me saying like, this isn't made for black people. I mean, it's like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Like, that's stupid. It should be made for anybody.
Don't
and
say it.
Art.
Well,
It's
it's like-
it's art.
Yeah,
It
no, I
should-
mean, like, I feel like you can apply that same argument if you were going to go that route, like about Coco. Like, oh no, you can't appreciate this because it's not about your culture.
Well,
it's
it's
about mine.
ignorant. It's like, no, this is a great moment to share and enlighten and make people get excited about this. 'Cause I mean, like, that was a really cool story because I researched and found out it's from like a part of Canada that has a great or has quite the population for Asian people.
Yeah, is it Toronto?
It is Toronto. You're right.
Okay, yeah, because I thought so, because like I knew some people from Toronto that are Asian.
Yeah, and then it's the same thing with like Minnesota and how there's a lot of Somalians who live there, and it's like that's kind of cool. Let's hear their story.
Yeah. No, it's not to tangent off of that, but I
There's a white guy always getting in trouble with this stuff. I gotta be careful. Like, okay, don't fuck up.
well, no, I mean it's valid. I was just gonna say that, like Paleo said though, with this short, I was like I was confused, and then I was a little bit more confused, and then I was like partially mortified because I'm like, I was thinking that maybe like is this supposed to be like the perspective of like some kind of animal kingdom thing going on here, where you know if you get pissed off at your young, you just eat them.
Yeah.
Okay, but when it
what being a parent is like.
Well, it kind of became clear to me after they were like playing around. I was like, oh, this is a nester, like an empty nest, like
Yeah.
the way the dad kind of left and how he just went about his work. She was raising her kid all over again, and because I was a bit confused at first. I'm like, is this did they never have kids?
I thought that's what it was, to be honest.
Yeah, did she not have kids? And it's like, oh no, she can, or she did. Her son left. By the way, the cute little blonde girlfriend, I loved her style. She looks so chibi. They all look cute. I love them all.
I was so concerned that blonde woman was banging a food.
I was hoping for it.
Like, yeah,
That's someone's thing.
I'm gonna stuff this dumpling.
She wouldn't be the first. I mean,
Well, I saw when she ate the dumpling, I was like, dun 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 dun. dun.
no, this short definitely had the biggest swing on emotion for me, from confusion to awe. Like because like it once her son shows up, I had that moment of like, oh,
Yeah.
right.
It's like, oh.
And I was actually like kind of I got mildly choked up, as many Pixar shorts have the ability to.
80%.
I love because there's a lot of controversy with the lava one and how. And I was reading this on Twitter, and I know we talked about it actually because we all saw Inside Out together, Sarah, Race, and I back in the day. And folks were like, wow, why does the female volcano have to have such a figure to her? And I'm like, okay, it's interesting. And then I read the other side of the argument with folks saying, well, that's the actual guy and his wife, and that's...
it's inspired by it.
Except the guy volcano is very much an abstract sort of looking shape.
Yep.
You can't
I still agree
you
with
can't
you.
say that looks exactly like the dude in real life.
That is fair, and that's why
Wait a minute. No,
I think it's sad because these two would have been the last ones to want any controversy because they're just artists who love each other, and it's sad that he died.
No, see, I disagree with what Sarah's getting at here, because I'm just throwing it out here that we have the Grand Teton Mountains, which were purely named because some travelers, some guys that were like working their way across the country with that looks like a pair of boobs, and we're gonna name them the Grand Tetons. I swear to God, that's why they're named.
I feel like that's not actually related to what I just said.
Well, it reminds me of that one Mount Kaka monster in Nepal. I'm joking, I just made that up.
Mount Kaka.
Mount Kaka's
like a dick.
long dick.
One thing about the bow short, I told Haley and Saber this, but like, since I moved out, I had to start learning how to cook for myself. So I've learned a few dishes, and cooking takes time and effort. It really, really does. So this short got me in a way that I didn't expect, and it wouldn't have a year ago when the little bow boy has the dumpling. Like the mother is like, oh, I know what I'll do for my son. I'll make him this gigantic feast that probably took me half a freaking day to make.
Oh, that was cute, yeah.
And then she's like, come eat with your mother. And he's like, nah, peace. And he walks out. And I was like, boy, if you don't sit your butt down in that chair. I was like losing my shit. Like I was so flipping mad. I was like, you know how long that took to make. And that's why I'm becoming old.
Well, it was sweet. I always enjoy Pixar shorts, and I'm glad Disney's doing them. And and that apparently I think Warner Brother is going to start doing some of their own.
Yeah,
by the
there's
way-
news for that. So,
Is-
are we done with spoilers for?
Yeah,
yeah.
should we move away from spoilers?
Hold on, I want to say one last thing. This isn't a spoiler, but speaking of animation news, John Lasseter is officially done at Pixar. He's retired after this year.
Yeah.
And of course,
That's what I heard.
oh yes, he is. No, he's retired after this year. And I think it's interesting because there's these sexual harassment claims, and if those are true, fuck the guy. But and I'm not playing those down, by the way. But it's also like one of those things where it's like, yeah, it was time for him to go anyway. So I mean, it's a shame that these are the measures that are pushing him out. Fuck the guy if that's the case. But it's nice to see a new wave of people take the helm.
Yeah, Pete Docter is the one heading Pixar, and then Jennifer Lee is the one that's heading Disney.
Someone said that Pete Docter looks like a living caricature with his weird long
His
I know.
head is so tall. It's so tall.
All right, I'm gonna take up the spoiler screen.
Like, he's not a bad-looking guy by any means, but you notice it. You're like, damn, boy.
Yeah,
And then,
he looks goofy, but he's also building our childhood. Whatever the
then
one.
Jennifer Lee is heading Disney Animation.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of folks being like, "Oh no, she's gonna feminism it up," and I'm like, "Oh, shut up! Just let her make it."
As long as it means like 8 Zootopia movies, I'm fine with whatever they want to do.
Zootopia 17. The taxi.
Unless they make Judy like
Murder of Jafar.
Oh my, what if they make it straight to video and it looks like the second and third Aladdin movie?
I would love that if actually Jafar was put in Zootopia. Hello, may I bear with her? You have to help me get out of the genie jar.
And
Bam.
it's them starting their they're starting the Kingdom Hearts universe, the KHU.
Of course, it's Bricket.
Oh boy.
Could you imagine if Sora just jumped into a Disney movie? I would have to leave the theater. Not because I was mad, but because I got mind broken.
Like when we watched Solo.
I was recently watching a Goofy movie, and that scene with under your thumb, Goof. And I don't know, Goofy's a good dad. He has some boundary issues, but once he follows his arc, he learns to back off and give us some space. You can tell he loves his son.
Hasn't he been divorced twice?
More
and maybe
than
3 times.
Bob Parlik's.
Goofy's romance, his romance
Goofy
life
fucks
is
ladies.
it's a little nuts.
Making me nervous.
Nah, I will say this about a Goofy movie and talking about Goofy versus Pete. I feel like I can really relate to where Max was, because I feel like the Pete situation was very I feel like as Max there was a Pete to me in my life.
Oh, by the way,
Does that make sense?
there's that part in Goofy movie when they eat pizza, and I'm like, yeah, that's some good cartoon food right there.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Would Miyazaki be proud?
No, he's never
Oh.
proud.
Could you look at that food and spirit it away? No, no one will ever make food that
Yeah,
good.
you're right.
Don't worry, Daddy's got cash, credit cards, and
Her dad loaded it. What does he do?
the Japanese probably a trust fund hedge or whatever.
He's a Japanese CEO and he's probably a trash person, but whatever.
Oh,
Dude, that food looked great. I read this cool Spirited Away book at Epcot. It was in the Japanese section, and it was in the store. And there was a cool segment about Chihiro's mother, and how they're Miyazaki's we wanted to make her look a bit more formal, and that's why they put lipstick on her. They give her an outfit that's a bit more not contemporary, formal, and conservative. Yeah, basically someone who's a bit more of a rigorous mother by Japanese standards, which is already pretty standard. So that's standard, but already pretty high. So yeah, it's interesting. It's cool.
So, what were you saying earlier about the Warner Brothers shorts? So, Warner Brothers, this is news. Warner Brothers is apparently going to be making Looney Tunes shorts again.
Oh.
Yeah. From 1 to 6 minutes from multiple creators. basically just giving them their characters and say like, do what you want.
This is their chance to make a 10-part Space Jam 2.
Yes.
But yeah, they apparently ordered like 1,000 minutes of new shorts. So,
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that.
and it's gonna be like on all different platforms on like online, TV, whatever. So some might even show up before movies. I don't know.
Interesting. Even bigger movie news, by the way. Angry Birds is getting a sequel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So excited.
Yep.
Like finally, right? Like
It's not a bad movie series.
It's about time.
It's just kind of random. It's like we're doing Angry Birds still.
hopefully they.
When's the Warcraft sequel coming out?
What's
Yeah.
the Flappy Bird movie coming out?
When's Nutty
I'd
by
do that.
Nature 2-3 coming out?
When's Ginormous coming out? Or
Gigantic.
Gigantic. Never.
Never, because Disney hates us.
I want gigantic.
Me too.
Paleo here and I last night we watched some recent episodes of DuckTales 2017, which we love, and it was the episode where Lin-Manuel was a voice
My
actor
boy.
for
Yeah.
Gizmo Duck. It's so good. I love that show. It's so great.
Mhm.
Freaking Launchpad is so good.
Yeah.
I love him to death.
Yeah.
Sarah.
What?
Are there any other topics that we were gonna hit?
Yeah. Well, I will just say this real quick that allegedly My Little Pony will come back August 4th. It's not confirmed, but it's alleged.
August 4th. Oh, okay. So there's not gonna be a new episode during BronyCon. Oh, that sucks.
Aww. We'll just like
At
rewatch
least it won't
something.
be spoiled
I'll have time to
For
get...
real though, yeah.
because.
I know you, Dusty Cat.
True.
Then
Didn't
another.
know that Luna dies. That happened in 2 episodes exactly.
Another thing I had written down was Pixar Pier opened on the 23rd, and that has like the Incredicoaster, and I think a lot of people are a little bit salty about that. But
So why are people salty about it?
I just retheming everything. I think people are kind of getting tired of Disney retheming all of the different rides.
As opposed to making new things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Disneyland doesn't really have the. Space
Yeah.
to make-
Well,
Yeah, they took up all the
here-
space with Star Wars Land.
Yeah, I was gonna say. No, God, I hope everyone just flocks to Star Wars Land and just leaves everything else empty.
Laura's
So, like,
friends were saying like we all should go to Star Wars Land when it opens.
In Disney World.
In
which
Disney
is
World.
Bigger.
And we're like,
Let's maybe go when Star Wars Land opens to go to the other stuff.
I'd be going to
Yeah.
Thunder Mountain, Space
And
Mountain, all that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Years use
Right.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
After the franchise.
Now I can finally ride the Avatar ride.
So, yeah, no, I think a big thing, especially for like, I don't know if it's more so for locals or if it's just for everyone in general, but California Adventures has been like the land or the park of retheming.
Yeah.
There's been so many, like, I know a lot of people are still upset that Tower of Terror is no longer Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
Same ride, different theme.
But that's how they get you to go to Florida.
Right? Yeah. So
It's like, oh, well, if you want to go on it, you gotta go spend a shit ton of money to go to Orler Park.
Yeah.
to be honest, I actually like the Tower of Terror in Florida better. That one
Yeah.
came first. And I was
You
kind
go
of
forward and stuff. It's cool.
yeah, I was kind of bummed that ours didn't do that. Like I remember riding on it and then going, wait, where's the part where you kind of roll around the hallway? Ours never did that. But yeah, there's just been a lot of retheming. I mean, honestly, like,
God,
If
I
I'm
hate
gonna
Tower
be-
Terror.
in my opinion, in my opinion, Oh yeah, Hero. I still have
hate
my
it.
ear ringing from sitting next to you on the ride.
Literally no fun at all.
But the roller coaster, California Screamin', which is now the Incredicoaster, I really don't feel like a lot of, I guess, whining or being upset over that one really feels warranted, because it was really just a roller coaster that had music. Like, it's not like it had a theme or it was a
Yeah.
ride with like
Yeah,
something.
it was just a roller coaster.
Like, they
It was
added
just a plain
stuff
old roller
to
coaster.
it.
Yeah.
So to me,
They added stuff
that's-
to it, like in the best way that they probably could for that project.
Right.
I think the complaining comes from people who are nostalgic of I rode this roller coaster when it was this and now they changed it.
Yeah.
It's
Which
possible.
I guess I get, but at the same time.
Yeah,
But the coaster-
that reminds me, like,
Okay.
because people are upset about Universal Studios in Hollywood, where they're changing the Jurassic Park ride into the Jurassic World ride. So like some people are upset. They're like, oh, it's not Jurassic Park anymore. Now it's Jurassic World. So
The one
It's all-
thing
it-
the one thing that I kind of liked about the Screamin' over Incredicoaster was the voice that launches you off. Like, it's like second. Well, no, but also the fact that it's like second thoughts, too late. And I'm like,
Yeah.
even though I'm like, fuck you, voice, I'm like, yeah, it's true.
Oh, have you been
but
on
yeah.
it?
I went on it once, and I don't think I'm ever gonna go on it again.
You gotta experience it, Sarah.
I
with the
don't.
new
I've watched
themes.
videos of the Incredicoaster. I'm
No,
fine.
it's not the same. Not the same.
But the weird thing about the Incredicoaster is that the effects come together so much better at night. And
Hello.
yeah.
Oh, now it's working. Okay.
okay.
Cool.
But yeah, like that's a weird thing because the park closes at about 10 to 11 usually, and it also like the back of the pier closes early for World of Color. So like there's only maybe a couple of hours that you have for prime riding of the Incredicoaster. Like if you really want to get the
cool for the Incredicoaster though
what?
is if they the part where you're sitting there before you launch, if it had Syndrome being like, "You superheroes can never defeat me." You think Bob and Bob's Burgers? do you think Bob and Helen and yada and then you go, "Wait, you had me monologuing," and then he shoots you off.
Yeah.
Why
Well,
could you never remember the kids' names?
It's
Dash and Violet?
It's
Dash and Violet.
Gene and
Rainbow
Carlos.
Dash and Twilight Sparkle.
It's John, Dylan, and Venus.
Mhm.
you'll get to learn Jack's voice very well at the end of by the end of the Incredicoaster because they say it like 89
His
times.
name.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I thought Saber was gonna say that you should run over Syndrome on the launch. Oh!
No mention of Syndrome in the Incredicoaster. Very sorry to say.
Oh.
Lame.
Yeah,
get rid
it's
of
all about Jack and his powers.
Oh. Yeah. No, I sometimes crack up when I see the Imagineering videos where they talk about like, oh, our inspiration. Like I think it was a Walt Disney World one, maybe for Toy Story. I forget what land it was, but and I was looking at some of the rides, which are basically a lot of those rides are the same ones that we've already seen from like when Cars Land came out. Obviously, we got the test drive, but it was a rethemed ride.
Mhm.
But then we also got the Mater ride, which they now put like some kind of other thing with the little alien space toys. And I was just cracking up because sometimes the Imagineers like they'll talk about like, oh, how excited we are about this thing that's coming out or this or that.
Mhm.
And it cracked me up because I just wonder like for them when it's literally just taking a ride that's already been created and just putting a different skin on it. Like I wonder if they're like, oh man, we were so
Wait,
inspired.
I have a better idea.
Deal.
Oh, you have
He
a better
died.
eye. No, he has a better eye.
Saber?
You died.
Saber?
Boom.
Dead.
I want to know what the idea
We
is.
lost him.
Whoever said anything about his idea?
I mean, what his eye was. And he's back.
Yes.
Is it working now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, cool.
What
What's
was
the
your
better
idea,
idea?
Saber?
What's the better idea? He's giving me this like blank expression. I have no idea.
He's gone? He just left?
Dinosaurs.
That's what
That's
we
it?
did. It would have been a lot better when had we not had to wait for it, I think. So Sarah, are there any other topics before we move on to the questions?
I did write down one topic because it's something that I see very frequently, and at this point, I'm just kind of like tired of it. People giving negative opinions about fan works and like fan art and fan writing in general, and being like, well, obviously that's inferior to doing original stuff, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up, like let people have fun. But
fun.
yeah, it just
No.
that's something that I've seen quite often, and I'm just getting sick of it. Just let people have fun. It's just whatever.
Fan works of what specifically?
Just in general, like anything that's
Oh.
fan created is like, but yeah.
I don't
Well,
think I've
they're-
seen any of that actually, but I
Yeah,
guess I'm not like looking for it.
You know what's funny? Our friend Tom, he used to be like really against fan works, but then like when he started making like MLP stuff,
Mhm.
and then now he's doing like 3D models of like both fan stuff and his original work. So.
Yeah, like most
Yeah.
people do a mix of original and fan works anyway. And like even if
Yeah.
someone does do like straight up all fan art, that's fine. Whatever, they're just having fun. Just let people do what they want. God.
Yeah, I feel like as long as someone's not like stealing artwork or like cheating, I guess like tracing or I don't know, or
Yeah.
copy pasting stories.
Right.
You know, whatever. Like, you know, it's kind of that live and let live type of thing. Like if you don't like it, then okay, just ignore it.
Yeah.
It's very easy to do.
No, we're on the internet. You can't ignore anything.
Yeah, that's Not
Also,
a lie.
just an update. I did send Matt that picture of Jeffrey the giraffe and said, "Hey, look, it's you." And he said, "LOL, context, please." And I said, and I explained it to him that it's Jeffrey the giraffe and all that stuff. But
what context does he need?
I don't know. He's just a lawyer.
He's just a lawyer.
We don't associate with those kinds.
Oh my god.
Oh, can I tell you about my week real fast?
Oh
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I waited until now. But one, I got a raise. Whee!
Yeah.
Hey!
Yay! I like more money. Thank you.
Money.
Right.
I wonder what that's like.
Oh.
What's my Patreon?
Also, I went on a date. That was neat.
Woo!
Look at this.
Woo!
You got
I'm
a
trying
fat
to do
wallet and a
that.
fat dick to match.
What?
How was it? How was your date?
I'm sorry.
What?
I've been wanting to say fat dick for a while and so much.
Okay, Saber. I've been wanting to say. Okay, anyways, it was fun. It's interesting because like 3 months ago, maybe 2 months ago, I went on my first date with somebody else, and although she was cool, like absolutely like cool individual, there just like wasn't any chemistry at all, and I was just like, it didn't really work. You're a cool person though. You do you. This just didn't work out between us. That's fine. But I was like, maybe I'm being a little too stingy. I don't know, because she was cool. But then I went on a date with this girl. I was like, oh no, you can totally feel something more after a date. Okay, all right, gotcha. Because yeah, this girl was very interesting, and I'll probably go out with her on a second date. So that
Cool.
was- yeah.
Nice.
Good.
I'm trying this dating thing that I've never tried for 26 years. It's kind of something.
So, do you like My Little Pony?
She likes cartoon. Wait, I said cartoon. She likes animated movies. When we talk about animated movies, I was like, oh yeah, that's the good stuff.
Tell Laura what she is.
What?
You should tell Laura what she is. Like,
Oh, she's a Mercy main, so God bless her.
Yeah.
When you said what she is, I'm like,
That's why I said what. I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
She's
Go
a
on,
rabbit.
Simba. Tell everybody what happened to Mufasa.
yeah. What would you do? Like legit. Like let's say like you start like really, the relationship gets really serious, and maybe you get to the point where, hey, you know what? Maybe that she's the one. And then she just springs out of nowhere and is like, have I ever told you that I really just hate The Lion King? Would that be a deal breaker?
No, it wouldn't be a deal breaker. That would be so like nitpicky. Oh my god, I would just need a moment. Like, I'm not gonna be like, nah, it's over. It's a really nitpicky thing. I know it's like a joke question, but like, nah.
Well, okay. I mean, if Sarah ever said that about Zootopia, like, wedding's off.
Oh dang.
Well, Sarah, there you go. You know who he's loving.
There's your out.
Hey, shut up!
Sarah, when she breaks up with Jeffrey, she'll sit down with 2 salt caramel milkshakes and just dive in.
Here are your 2,000 calories.
Yeah.
Sarah, if I said I hated Wreck-It Ralph, would you consider breaking up with me?
No.
She thought about it.
I would.
Lip smacking everything.
I would try to convince you that it was a good movie, but if
That's fair.
you might have your reasons for not liking it, and I would probably respect those, unless they're really fucking stupid.
So you guys, wow, you guys know me well enough to know that I obviously like that was a joke about it being off, but you guys do know that I'd be stubborn enough to spend the rest of my life convincing Sarah that Zootopia wasn't a good movie. Rest of
Guys,
well,
Laura's
we'd be
restarting her
married.
computer. It's freezing up.
Okay.
We're back.
Okay.
It would, yeah. We'd be married. We'd be together for life. So, yeah. But, I mean, I don't have to, because Sarah knows that Zootopia is the best movie ever.
That's debatable.
That's okay.
It's the best movie ever in your eyeballs.
In my eyeballs.
Yeah.
Wait, Sarah, if you're at a convention and you saw Wreck-It Ralph merch, would you buy it like almost unconditionally, or would you think about it?
I would have to think about it, and honestly, I'm very picky when it comes to like buying shit. Like, if I'm gonna buy something, it's gotta look nice, and it's gotta be something that I just absolutely love and feel like I can't live without it, which honestly is not a lot of things. So I don't buy a lot of merchandise. I literally, the only Wreck-It Ralph merchandise that I have is the art book and the little Fix-It Felix Funko Pop figure.
So, true story here. True story. I don't buy Sarah stuffed animals.
Yeah.
Like in any form.
You have
because
before,
I know,
but very rarely.
Yeah, but I've learned because I know.
I think I tell him specifically the stuffed animal that I want.
Yeah,
in that case.
She's very picky, very picky when it comes to that stuff, which I can respect. You know, she's not quite like me.
I
where
must
I'm
have
like,
the finest plush in vinyl figures.
I'm just like anything with a Zootopia logo.
I would buy the logo.
You all hear us all right?
A
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
quiet?
Cool. We're back.
A little quiet?
Hello.
Maybe?
My computer was being weird. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's all right. I think is it question time, Sarah?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Do we want to cover Saber's question first?
The $1 million one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I
All
want
right.
to hear Hero's answers first because he already got a raise and he's got a girlfriend in the making. So what else could he want?
What? I'd buy another house immediately. Like immediately. I just buy probably like a 350K house somewhere. Spend it all immediately. I would buy a trip to Japan.
Hell yeah.
How far in advance can you book plane tickets?
Pretty far.
Like years?
I don't know about years.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
think
would
years.
travel probably the entire year. I would just book a whole bunch of flights to a lot of places. Cause like it's so hard to freaking go to places on your own freaking planet. Cause it's so diddly dang expensive. But it's not like I don't want to see it.
Diddly dang. Diddly diddly.
So yeah, that.
Okay.
Apparently, flights go on sale 11 months before their departure.
Couldn't have been 12, huh?
Yeah, I would travel for both. I would book a whole lot of flights like 11 months in advance.
All right, Paley, what about you? What would you do?
I'd probably help a lot of my family with any debt they might have.
Yeah.
Let's see. I definitely buy a house somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. Because for where I would want to live, it would probably be a bit too expensive to get something. Because I would probably want to try to get something in San Diego, but I'm not sure if I wouldn't be able to get near the beach at all. But let's see.
$1 million? Not enough. You need to have $5 million.
No, it's he's not wrong though.
Yeah, I'm not wrong. Yes, I'd have to live
saying-
inland. I'd have to live inland if I wanted to live like anywhere near San Diego.
Oh, you're one of the poor rich people.
But yeah, if not, I'd probably just buy a house here, and then let's see, buy every game I ever wanted because that would only be a small dent in $1 million.
What? I don't know. Only the ones you want. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Only the ones I want. Yeah.
Okay, for some reason, I like in my head it
would be like-
registered as every game.
Which would be
Yeah.
which would be maybe like I don't know a few $10,000 or something.
Only a dent.
Yeah, just a dent in the $1
That's
million.
pretty sizable dent, actually.
Yeah.
My money.
Like if that was your car, you'd be like, "Damn, son, where'd that dent come from?" Like,
Yeah, I'd
That'd be
I'd
1%.
definitely reserve something for like swimming with humpbacks or something like that, and also like
Oh
going to
my
see gray
God.
whales.
Could I have an otter? I could have an otter. Yes. That's really the dream. Like honestly.
Give himself.
So yeah,
an
and
otter.
I would book trips to like see different whales and stuff.
Nice.
Very cool.
What about you, Sarah?
Oh boy. So for me, I'd probably start with helping pay off my parents' debts and stuff like that. And then I would probably hire some more caregiver help for my mom because my grandparents have been declining in health, so like that's been very stressful for her. So I'd get her more help. Then I would buy me and Jeffrey a house.
Thank
Nice
you.
one. Which
so it's
is
not gonna be
honestly
California then.
yeah. Well, it's just gonna
No,
be more
Arizona.
expensive if it's nice in California.
True.
Then I'd want to buy an RV to travel
Oh.
in.
Instead of $1 million, not.
Yeah, like an RVs are pretty expensive.
Yeah, she's talking like a smaller scale RV.
Yeah, smaller scale.
What, like a Winnebago or something?
Like you
Yeah.
got $7 left.
Okay,
well,
yeah,
wait.
Winnebago. Yeah, you could probably.
Wait, how much do RVs cost? That they make a dent
lot.
in $1 million?
Well, it depends on
Really?
like what size. Hold on. Average cost. of
22K?
RV.
Like it-
25K?
Cost of a new Class B motorhome typically fall below that of Class A and can range from 40,000 to mid 100,000s. But like I'm talking,
God.
yeah, I'm talking maybe about a 20-footer, like a Winnebago sort of style.
I was gonna say who has that money, and I'm not gonna ask that question actually because people have it.
People have that money.
Yes, they do. It's like whenever I see people pulling like a really nice boat, and I'm like, I wonder what it's like to have money to spend.
To have money to have a boat, and
Yeah.
more often than not, they don't have the money to have a boat.
Right, and they use it probably once a year. No joke. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Why did they call it a combi in Wild Thornberries?
I have no idea.
Like, why did it have that name?
Was it like a proper noun? Was that its name, or
It's
is
a
that like
combi.
A combi, it's abbreviated for something.
It's comfy.
convenient vehicle? I don't know.
You don't.
Yeah, I want to know what the com stands for.
It stands for Eliza.
No, when I type in combi, it is exclusively Wild Thornberries.
Converts into different
Convertible
things.
vehicle.
Oh, convi.
No, it's com though with an M.
Oh, COMM. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, or
Whatever.
com-
This show they're talking.
Oh, COMVEE. A communications vehicle. That's what it is.
But do you communicate in it?
I mean, I guess you can. It's got like,
Also, that-
satellite stuff in it.
That vehicle's color scheme was some trash. Who would buy
Yeah.
that?
For real.
Yeah, like
Nice.
you can't camouflage with that kind of color scheme.
Oh god, this show looks really ugly.
What would Laura get?
You can't do the gift cards.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys what I said before. So Saber asked us in a group chat that I have with a bunch of my friends, and I loopholed it pretty hard, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna buy $1 million in Amazon gift cards, because that way I just still have $1 million, and I don't have to spend it in one day, so I can spend it as needs arise. Like, oh, it's someone's birthday, let me buy them a gift. Oh, it's, you know, I need to get groceries, let me buy groceries, and that way it's more sustainable. But if that were not an option, because it's very loopholey,
You could buy a farm.
A farm?
Yeah, then you'll be self-sustaining.
I get it. Like a solar panel.
Yeah.
Solar panels would be pretty good. But I'd probably buy some stuff for the people I love in my life.
What would you get me?
I'm gonna get. I have to find something. I'll get you a meeting with the guy who writes One Punch. And you can hang out with him for a day.
Speaks Jack.
Yeah, well. And I guess I would start buying tickets for a whole lot of conventions, get a whole bunch of flights and hotels booked so I could travel and stuff. Get some pony plushies.
Of course.
I just remembered
Couple.
plushes and figures. You say a couple.
I would definitely commission. I don't know how to say her name. It's like Naz something.
That's wrong, whatever her name is.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it out loud, but she's like a super talented plushie artist, and I would definitely commission her for like a bunch of stuff.
Nice.
Can I add one more to my list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would buy cabinets of every single villain game.
Every single one.
Yep.
Hmm.
My Crossbeat, Sound Voltex, Poppin', Music, 2DX, you name it, whatever. I want it. Absolutely. I didn't say Sound Voltex, literally like my favorite moving op for some reason I didn't say it. But you know. Who needs to name their favorite things, right?
Right. That's right.
Oh, dude, I would get a Jurassic Park themed Jeep Wrangler.
Why would you not? I'm not joking, I saw one of those like 3 days ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I
Nice.
did. Yep. Oh, you know what? It wasn't a Jeep, it was the Explorer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Question.
So if I
watched Jurassic Park.
Oh, you gotta.
if I haven't answered this one. The obvious first for me is a house. At least to me, obvious. But and then of course I'll buy like 3 of all Zootopia merchandise, which there's not a lot of merchandise, so I should be fine.
Mm.
You can
Um,
make stuff though.
See, like I'm surprised nobody. I feel like it'd be cheating to say like, oh, I buy jewelry and then sell it back because
Like the Amazon gift card.
that'd
do
be.
that. You can't
Yeah, I
sell
know.
everything
I
in the game.
know. I know. What if I bought like a penny collection, but then I didn't sell it back for a long time? I'm kidding. But yeah, no. God, yeah, I definitely book some traveling. That'd be just kind of travel the world, maybe go to some countries overseas, and go to Australia or something, somewhere like
Dude,
super
Australia
fun.
that'd be a wild trip. I think it'd be fun.
I don't
Would
want
be.
I
Yeah,
want to see the Great Barrier Reef before it dies.
like wow. I mean, the truth of the matter is that like with living in California, like Sarah and I, we were near the coast or on the coast, and there was a real estate like place set up, and they had postings for some of the houses around there. And Sarah, do you remember how much some of those were?
I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was just ridiculous.
Like didn't we see one that was like $4 million?
Yeah.
And we're talking like not gigantic, like barely any yard.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 bedrooms.
It's just because it's on its own like little island and right like 10 feet from the beach.
True, but it's still like
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
Yeah, like houses. There's houses out in the area I live in that it's not nowhere near unheard of that these houses are in the millions of dollars.
Right.
And so yeah, but I would just be happy. Like I don't need a big crazy house. Like for
Right.
me, it's just hey,
Right.
pay off a house, and I'd be like, sweet. At this point, it's just go, because a house is such a big investment.
Mm.
And yeah,
Oh, I have another
maybe.
thing I just actually remembered for me,
Oh,
because I would definitely like make sure that every cat is taken care of because I love kitties. I'm gonna go to
Every
every
single
shelter and like make sure all those kitties are taken care of, and it's gonna be great.
nice.
in the entire world, because I think
Yep,
you're gonna need more than $1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah.
You each get a kibble.
You heard me.
Maybe even travel the NASCAR schedule once. I don't know.
Ooh.
Oh.
I wanna quickly go through. So people have been answering this same question in the chat. Saber, did you answer the question?
He did not.
I would.
Get closer to the mic.
He's sitting on the couch.
I'm sitting with Lammy because I've been fucking like trying to keep him and Danny away from each other the entire day.
Yeah.
Keep playing with each other.
What?
You guys are a lot
He's
quieter
sitting
though
with
than
Danny
before.
Because Daenerys keeps like chasing him around, and he gets all nervous because he's a little nervous pup.
Tell him I'd save the money.
You can't save the money.
Yeah.
That's the whole
Saber, this was your question.
Yeah. You guys are dumb. Why don't you just save the money?
I'll buy nothing but lettuce, and it will be forever.
I thought you were gonna say Legos.
Lettuce? Is that what I?
Oh man,
That
I
would
buy
be
Lego.
really fun.
Yeah, I'd buy every freaking Lego
No.
set I ever wanted.
No, dude. You imagine stepping on all those Legos. Oh.
$1 million worth of Legos, dude. That's like 6 Legos.
Yeah, right.
That's like 6 sets.
Sorry, one of you, one way or another.
Wait, Batman?
I buy a Judy plush and behead it on television. I would.
Why are you like this?
Rip out Jack McBraier's vocal cords. I would.
Wow.
Whoa!
You're gonna get like arrested for that.
It's very quickly.
I won't. I'll pay off the
Yeah, why would
Wait.
you need $1 million?
I'm gonna take this $1 million and become a criminal
I do bad things. I smoke with cigarettes.
with cigarettes.
Smoke with cigarettes?
You don't smoke them.
Should we head to Q&A?
Yeah,
Is
we
Yeah,
should probably
real
do that.
Real quick, I'm just gonna fly through these. Nora says she'd get sponsor badges for conventions in the U.S. Prepay hotel rooms, buy flights. Cheated with the gift cards. Tisk tisk. Let's see. Mirth says I'd buy my parents a home in the south of France. Buy all my family and friends sweaters and teach them how to
I
dance.
love this song. Oh my god, I get it.
Huh?
What?
These are lyrics to a song.
Wait, this is a song that I'm reading right now?
Yes. It's
Oh.
like the song's like, let's get rich and buy our parents' houses in the south of France. Let's get rich and buy everybody nice
Oh,
sweaters.
son of a bitch! Those are song lyrics.
Yeah.
You got me, Mirth. Michael said, if I had $1 million and only 24 hours to spend it, I'd buy all the commissions for art, probably a life plushie of my OC, maybe a fursuit, a passport, a new car, some MLP shirts, maybe a poster or two. And easy on the posters there, man. Only $1 million. And then yeah, everyone likes to break the rules and save some money. Let's see. David says I would pay off my student loans and buy every single Nintendo game. Santos says I would be every Kingdom Hearts and One Piece product. Bravery. Nope, that wasn't an answer. I don't think. Fritz says I would buy a house, food, and then go to as many brony conventions, see/meet so many awesome people. Cool. One thing I didn't mention in mine is I would also buy the second milkshake and not complain about it. All right.
Spending the big bucks right there.
SPP questions on Twitter, Sarah.
Yep, I posted it a little while ago. So okay. I mean, we don't have a lot as of right now. Okay, so
We're looking good.
okay, so let's try to like not get sidetracked though. We've only
Not
got
gonna happen.
All right.
Yes, Saber.
So I guess this first question is from Oziel. Thoughts on President of Nickelodeon stepping down after 30 years, and also saying as well as what happened behind the scenes, but I don't know anything about this. I don't know if anybody does. Okay,
I don't
well,
know about this.
yeah, I don't know.
I'm hearing about
What,
it.
it's Sima or Sima or Kaima or whatever his name
Again,
is?
I
don't
think
know.
I know about animation until I come to this podcast. I'm like, I don't know nothing. Like,
Yeah, I guess we don't have any opinions. Sorry, Ozzy. Let's see.
Interesting. It just looks like, from what I can read, that like the creators were getting less and less for the work that they were doing. It seems like.
Ooh.
What the
I don't
hell? Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to read that later and look it up. I don't know.
I don't know the source where this is from either.
Yeah.
So.
Oziel also asks thoughts on the new Dumbo teaser trailer. Did anybody watch that?
Oh, I
Yeah.
I haven't seen
don't really care.
Danny DeVito's in it though.
It's seeming very different from the original movie, which I'm a little bit like, oh, why?
We already have Operation Dumbo Drop. Oh, here we go. Here's a good question, as in a very thought-provoking one. Oziel's asking, do you sometimes eat food despite the fact that it's expired?
No, absolutely
Depends.
not.
No.
Depends on what it is.
No.
I live by that date. I know I have been told by Sarah and many others that I shouldn't, but if it's one day over, and I accidentally eat it, I'm convinced that I died. I'm going to die.
It's all over.
There are some
And I
foods
want
that
that.
are gonna be safe like at least a week after the sell by date, but it's very it varies between whatever foods, and I don't mind it when people go by the date because that's usually the safest route to go.
Yeah, it's
But yeah.
it's gonna be a while before like chips go stale.
Yeah.
Or Twinkies.
The one that like the biggie for me is if milk is expired, that shit is going down the drain.
Oh,
yeah,
I
same.
will not.
I won't do it the day of the date. Like it has to be before that date.
Right. Even like legitimately, even like a day before, I'm like questioning it. I'm like,
And all these people in other countries are like, I wish I had milk.
Not expired milk.
This makes me sick.
Ross Pitt asking, if you were a dinosaur, what dinosaur would you be?
A pterodactyl.
I feel like
That's not a
Pixar
dinosaur,
answer
technically.
this for everybody.
Oh,
Are you
my
serious?
God!
Yeah,
Are
I'm
you
serious.
Seriously going? That is a dinosaur.
No, it's technically not.
Technically,
I mean, you can be wrong, but okay.
what is it?
It's
What
a
is it?
flying reptile. It's a pterosaur.
Well, aren't dinosaurs reptiles?
It's iffy.
So where's the gray area end, Mr.
There's this
PaleoSteno?
weird thing between reptiles and birds.
I don't know any names of dinosaurs other than like 3 horns and long necks.
I pretended as a kid that I was Littlefoot. Like I would like for some reason in the bathtub pretend that I was Littlefoot, and everyone liked me because I was cute.
Nice.
Ross Pitt in the chat said, it's prehistoric, it's a dinosaur. So are mammoths dinosaurs?
Oh my God! You just this topic is not allowed to be fun by Paleo.
Paleo's a nerd, so don't worry about him.
I say it I say it because of like other friggin' paleontology nerds like me.
The velociraptors actually had feathers and with 7 curls.
I'd be a
I
parasaur.
believe the term is called cetacean. It's not a mosasaurus, it's a mosaicsaurus.
Dude, make me a damn T-Rex so
you
I
said
can
it the
just.
opposite of what you usually do.
Because you taught me right, Dad.
I want to be a Velociraptor because they were smart.
You know, when I was a kid,
Dinosaur
I was a
types.
huge fan of the fight scene in Fantasia with the T-Rex and the Stegosaurus, and I would try to recreate it. And I'd be like, "Hey guys, look, you know, my friends back in like kindergarten and whatever, be like, let's play dinosaur." And I'm like, "Okay," and then I'm like, "Okay, cool." I get on all fours and lift my leg up and start kicking them like the Stegosaurus.
So I just looked up types of dinosaurs since pterodactyl doesn't count, and this says Ankylosaurus is a genus of armored dinosaur.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to be an armored dinosaur.
Yeah, and Ankylosaurus.
Ankylosauruses are cool.
That's rad AF. Oh my god.
No, I'd be the one that eats all the other dinosaurs because then I'll not have to worry about other dinosaurs.
Looks like a Monster Hunter monster, like actually.
Yeah.
I mean, we think the Monster Hunter monsters are inspired from
Right.
like actual dinosaurs.
Well, in the Bible, they mention.
Get out.
Okay. I think I would probably be a parasaur.
What is a
That's the same one that Ducky is.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Nope.
Parasaurologist.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't want to say the full name because I knew I was gonna butcher it.
Okay.
Yep.
I kid you not, the receptionist at my work, I was going out to a break, and I just was like, for some reason, I always do weird stuff when I walk by, and one of the things that I did was I was just like smacking my lips like, and as I walked by, and all of a sudden my receptionist goes, "Littlefoot," and I just stopped in my tracks, and I just slowly turned, and I was like, "What did you just say?" And then she looks at me and goes, "Yep, yep, yep." I was like, "Oh!" Yeah, so then I was just, bouncing off all these lines from the movie, but I was just like, that was unexpected.
Hero, what the fuck is that?
Didn't you know Parasaurus can breathe fire, boy?
What?
You didn't know?
Where's that from?
Me on top of
I've never heard that before.
Is this a rap battle?
man, he's spitting fire.
Oh my god.
This
Alright, another
mixtape
picture that
is-
I have to share with the chat.
Fire.
Because I was just looking at what parents someone
That
was
should be
like, there
screen
it
gift for a
is.
rap battle. Seriously.
See, Sarah knew about this, but didn't want to mention the fire breathing part. Apparently, just left that out.
No, they don't breathe fire.
Oh my god.
Quite clearly, they do.
No, they
Dinosaurs
apparently
by
just make weird
design.
noises with their horns.
Oh,
But-
wow. Yeah, this is a very old book. It's like, what the fuck? I've never seen that before.
Oh my god.
This is a book that still spoke highly of Christopher
Oh,
Columbus.
that's why. It's a Christian book.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay.
The
Let's,
good old days.
did everybody say what dinosaur they would be?
I
Mhm.
don't know enough.
I don't know what I would be. Maybe some kind of raptor, I guess.
No, you'd be a wiener saurus.
What's the dinosaur that like is kind of like by itself, but isn't like a
Call him
hunter?
out.
No, it's for me.
Oh, you.
A lonely. No.
The Rhizinosaurus is like that, I think.
Who like just doesn't want to deal with anyone.
Hold on, I got one for you.
Yes.
Right, like, okay.
It's called a Therizinosaurus.
Oh
Never
my
heard of
god.
it.
Can any of these
Taylor
people
can
actually
get
say?
up right now. We'll believe. Him. Oh
Yeah.
yes, that's the
That's me. 100%.
Ankylo Niflophis.
Yeah, and it doesn't hunt. It's actually like a plant eater, but it's got these giant claws.
Just say like Slogothosaurus and be like, yeah, that one.
Wagophosaurus. That sounds great, dude.
The goth girlfriend of dinosaurs.
It wasn't neat and it has giant claws. So I'm like, ooh, that would be Debbie because she's like fighter. She's ready to go.
Spider. Let's see here. So Sarah, I'm going to cut down on some of these just so we get through.
Yep.
All right. Jazz King's asking, any tips on doing self-deprecating humor?
Well, you take a big
Well,
wad
first
of
you gotta have
poop.
horrible-
Stop.
Oh, self-deprecating. Okay.
Oh
Self-defecating.
Jesus.
Technically, it actually says
I don't have any pointers
self-depreciating.
because I don't.
I've heard it both. Is it technically self-depreciating or self-deprecating?
Deprecating.
Deprecating.
It is, right?
I've
Okay.
never. Whenever people say depreciate, I'm like, is that a? I don't think that is a word.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it's supposed to be said.
Okay, so I was.
Depreciate. Depreciates to diminish in value over time.
Yes.
Or to disparage of belittle something. Okay, there you go. Yes, the same as depreciate.
Oh, it's not just
Synonymous.
two different
No,
ways
they're
of
two different
pronouncing
words.
it?
How about
Or,
that?
oh, they're two different words?
I learned something today. I really didn't think it was a word. Like, I knew depreciate in value, but I didn't know depreciate like could be synonymous with deprecate rather.
Oh.
Interesting.
Well, I'll be danged. Did anyone actually have advice?
These things with the semi-perfect podcast.
You learn
Yeah.
lots of new stuff.
Pterodactyl is actually an amphibian.
Ooh.
To be honest with you, Jazz King, any tips on doing self-deprecating humor? You're not going to get any good advice from us because we suck ass when it comes to humor.
Wow.
Is that a joke?
That was an example. Some people are nodding though, like, yeah. Nora is asking, let's say someone gave you $6,000 to plan a 1-week vacation. Where would you go? What would you do?
Fucking Disney World.
Disney World, yeah. Come on, man.
Shit.
Oh,
Okay.
y'all making me feel hella baby. Oh my god.
So you're saying like Japan?
I'm going to Japan, boy.
Yeah.
You're gonna get there and be out of money.
Yeah.
I'm going somewhere with whales.
You can get to Japan for like 16
So-
So Wales?
Walmart.
No, not whales.
Wendy.
Go see whales.
Walmart.
Williams is a fat whale.
I like Disney World because then you could, do it like go all out.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Okay.
The decent
Uh,
hotels and...
Let's see
Or you
here.
could like actually buy the food.
Yeah, actually. Food in the parks.
I was gonna buy a drink there, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, it's like $12 for a drink."
Reckless is asking me if I believed hard enough, would I ever get a Judy Hopps fursuit?
No.
Like, would it just appear, or like?
Yeah.
Things just don't magically appear.
Well,
You don't know.
well, maybe if I put. Let's see. Here's the thing: is like I don't know if I'd wear one, but like
I know.
I would get one. Yeah.
Why would you get something and not do something with it?
Well, I said I would wear it.
Oh. I'm judging you.
Why is Sarah so quiet?
Just I don't want to address it. I don't even want to give it any thought.
No thought power.
This is a good question here from Rosie, but it's one that I kind of wish Gabe was here for because I'm sure he has something to contribute. Rosie says, "This is so weird, but I have no better questions. I burned my fingers in the oven today. So what is the story behind your worst burn-related injury?"
I got one.
I just breathe fire in my face.
Oh. Glass blowing class, where you're dealing with molten glass. So what happened is, so I got multiple burns that semester, but the worst one was definitely, so I was working with my glass on the, we stick it into the molten stuff and then we pull it out and you like shape it, and while you're shaping it, you're turning this rod that the glass is on the end of. And so I was using this pair of tools called a jacks, and it's like a giant, it's like a giant pair of tweezers. So it's touching the glass and I'm shaping it. And then I go to put it down, or either I'm like looking at the glass, I can't remember, I got distracted, but I moved my hands so that the end of the jacks touched my forearm, and I had like a 4-inch long burn along my arm, and that was pretty bad. And also I did burn my fingertips pretty badly as well, but
What a good day.
Yeah.
Did you scream a curse word? Because I would have screamed a curse word.
I did not scream a curse word, but I did go like, fuck. And I was like, yeah. So then I had to put ointment on it. But yeah, that's the worst burn that I've gotten.
I've never been burned ever, actually.
I burned myself when I was 4 years old because I was too curious and I put my hand over a light bulb.
For how long?
That incandescent.
For as long as until it hurt.
Long enough.
So yeah, it was a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Getting burnt sounds awful, like legitimately.
It is. Anyone else?
I got electrocuted. That's not burn.
Whoa!
Crazy.
How'd you get electrocuted?
I was trying to plug in something into an outlet, and my finger was in between like the black part that like ends the metal part on the end of a plug, and like the outlet. It was like in between there, so my finger was touching like the metal part that goes in the outlet, and it was like it really felt just like a shockwave going through my body. I was like, that's a nutty feeling. Wow, I hated it. It hurt a lot.
Damn.
Put your finger there.
I didn't mean to.
I've surprisingly never burnt myself bad enough to like leave a mark.
I mean, like when I was younger,
Gotta
I
make
was
your
like,
mark.
taking cookies out of the oven, and like I had the oven mitt on, but like the part of my arm that wasn't covered by the oven touched the other rack.
Oh no.
So, like it was for like half a second. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Did cookies go everywhere?
No, I had priorities. 'cause my
Wow,
cookies-
trooper!
So yeah, survived.
Well done.
The
Next
cookies
one
will
for
survive.
food.
Oh, I know. I lied. I've been burned. We went when we were like 6 or 7, like first, second grade, something like that. We went to a firefighter, or like you went to the firehouse. What is it called? The place where
Firehouse.
firefighters live. Okay, firehouse.
The North Pole.
They let you do the procedure, like the whole like, oh man, you gotta get into the whatever. Like fires come in, let's get into the fire engine and go. I'm forgetting all these words. But we got to slide down the rope. I don't know why thought that was a good idea to let kids do, because I learned about rope burn like that day. I was like, ow, 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 ow.
They had a rope and
They had a rope and not a pole?
Yeah, it was a rope.
What the hell?
I have
There's
a
a
scar
pole
from a rope
standard?
burn.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
usually there's a pole.
Yeah.
Huh.
Jesus, guys. Maybe that's why you didn't call it a firehouse, because it was like someone's backyard.
Yeah, I just...
Aw.
Fire truck. Thank you, Quiet Storm. That is what it is called.
Man, you could also call it
I didn't realize you were still struggling on that.
And it's also called a fire engine, so like...
Yeah.
Okay,
I guess.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, gonna hammer through a few more questions and then we'll call it. Reckless.
Dare call a pterosaur a dinosaur.
Reckless is asking, do you have a favorite dirt oval racing class? American stocks. I love the old cars. Yeah, it was. Let's see here. I'm just looking real quick. Davey Dave is asking, so I just bought Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, and My Neighbor Totoro.
Nice.
Are there any other Studio Ghibli film that you would recommend?
Cat Returns.
Cat Returns, yes. that
Yeah,
one.
Cat Returns. Like pretty much all of them, honestly. Just get them all. Get them all. Yeah, but
Watch
Yeah,
Kiki. Oh my
Kiki.
god, watch
So
Kiki.
good.
yeah, Kiki's very
Zootopia.
good.
Please also watch
Porco
Castle
Rosso.
in the Sky. Porco Rosso, yes. Sarah's not even joking. Just buy, like, literally buy.
Literally
all
buy
of
all of them. Just buy all of them. Like that's what I've been doing. I've just been buying all of them and watching them, and they are all a delight.
them. Nelson's great.
Not a bad one.
Jesus, man.
Speaking of purchases, by the way, Jazz King is asking, what is the worst purchase you've ever made?
Street Fighter 5.
You bought that?
The game's trash, man. I hate it so much.
I just love that you bought that.
No, Snake Pass. I hate that game. It is so unfun. I wish I could return it, but I bought it on this Switch. It's just negative fun.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there's like some stupid shit I bought as a kid that I was like, I need to have this. And then like, if I
Oh
were
yeah.
now, I'd be like, I could use that to like pay my bills. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's not really fair.
The dumbest purchase I ever made, and this has a little story attached as to why. I bought a piece of gum
That's the one.
for 10 cents. I had a dime. I was like 8 years old, and I was like, I'm going to get something from the ice cream truck. And the only thing I could afford was a grape single piece of gum. And I was like, hell yeah,
Wait,
I'm
your
going to
ice
enjoy
cream truck
this.
sold gum?
It was the dumbest purchase I've ever made because my
Wait,
parents
A
strictly
grape?
What?
grape gum. I mean, the gum was
Oh,
good.
grape gum. I thought you meant one grape. I was like, 10
No,
cents.
no, but my parents told me, don't do it. Don't you go outside. And I did it, and I got grounded.
I remember, like, I love kid memories because they're just so full of stupid, like, logic. I remember one time, there was a guy on my street who I really didn't like, and this is back when I was like 8 years old. He was like 10, and he was like being mean to my sister. And Sarah could take care of herself, but I was like, I have to stand with my sister's honor. And we all got off the bus, and I ran back to my house way in front of everybody else, and I grabbed my dog's leash. And I'm like, this will make a good weapon. And I ran back, and I started spinning around like, whoa! And then he like started like making a motion of sprinting towards me. I was like, ah! And I started running away. And then Sarah had to intervene and basically tell him to fuck off. And I was
What
like,
did you buy?
why?
Yeah, wasn't it like your dumbest purchase?
Oh, purchase. I missed the prompt.
You can go for tangent without
My dumbest purchase. Well, I used to be a Pokemon card thief. That's not really purchasing.
But thieves don't purchase, they steal.
Oh, you reminded me of my dumbest purchase,
What?
or the purchase that I didn't like at all. Digimon cards. Like I bought these, like, oh yeah, these are gonna be just like Pokemon cards. They were not.
My mom bought me both of the Rings cards to replace my Pokemon cards, and she's like, "This is a good Christian thing to buy," and I'm like,
Is it?
eh. I'm like, cool, Lord of the Rings cards. I went to school and nobody had them. I'm like, well, this is fucking worthless.
Everyone had that story of they bought like a card game and everyone thought it was gonna be like the hot stuff and everyone at school would have them and then they didn't. Because I bought Imagination cards. I was like, oh yeah, this game's the next hotness. No one even knows what Imagination is.
It's imagination.
It's Imagination.
Oh, imagination.
Yeah,
Okay.
Imagination.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
No.
imagination.
The Gathering.
the summoning.
I was so ready for it to be the hotness and it just was not.
No, it
That
was
at
not.
all.
I remember seeing like one thing about it, and that was it. And there was like, oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! That's the thing.
Whenever Dragon Ball Z cards were a thing, and it's like, oh my god, Golden Vegeta, and it's like, nope, no one cares.
Dave pointed out that my worst purchase was actually the second milkshake.
Yeah, I love that.
Awesome.
I love
Alright.
that. I enjoyed that.
All right, so I got 2 questions. The last one's gonna go quick because it's directed at me. Quiet Storm asking, how is the low budgets going? I'm gonna use that to also point out. So Bronies React is heavily in the work right now for the premiere. I am making progress on it, and that has held up. Like, I feel like 8 other projects right now. So I'm working on a memoir. I'm working on the Bronies React, and I am.
Are you gonna die?
Yeah, no, maybe
Well,
eventually. No, but I do memoirs for the end of each season.
Oh
for
yeah,
My
yeah,
Little
that's
Pony.
right.
And then the low budgets. That's also going to be a lot of the new season coming out here soon. So thank you for asking. A lot of stuff is on the way. Here's the question we're going to end the night on: favorite Disney villain song by David 3X.
Oh, damn it.
That question changed immediately after you said song.
Hellfire.
That's a good
It's
one.
so high up there. That is a hard one.
Does Candy sing a song?
No.
Things
No.
that bother me,
It's
when I bother
absolutely.
you, I am happy and fine. Ha
Have some candy.
Have some candy. I just scared Dan.
Labby in the sunshine.
Why is
Candy
so
in the
Jack McGuire can suck my wiener?
Oh man, that's so hard.
Man, I'll be so boring. If it's one song, be prepared when Scar is rising on that pillar and he says, "Be king undisputed, respected, saluted," and his mane's like blowing in the wind. I'm like, yo, this shit's hype as hell. Oh my god.
You actually start to
love
like.
that scene.
You want him to win.
Right. That song is so good, boy.
I was actually gonna say be prepared. Now I have to think of another one.
It's
You know,
not gonna be
I'm gonna go with Radigan's song.
Oh God!
To
No
Radigan.
one's gonna watch this
Wait,
movie.
The world's greatest criminal mind.
No, good. Yes, you went with that Radigan song. I'm gonna go with the other Radigan song.
Oh yeah, goodbye.
Yeah.
So soon. Isn't it a crime?
Laura, what's your favorite?
I really, really like Friends on the Other Side.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It's
Such a
yeah.
Disney song. Just like the visuals in that scene are so awesome.
Yeah.
Like, the
Some
song's
good
great.
colors.
It's Keith David. You
Nice.
Anyone else?
I've had a recent binge on Shiny from Moana. I enjoy the heck out of that song.
know. I like
That's a fun one.
You don't need to rewatch that movie when I'm not angry.
Wait. Oh, that's right. You saw.
Yeah, I had to spend like $120 something to watch Moana.
What?
I wasn't happy at all.
How did
He had to pay for his family.
I was inviting my sister to go watch Moana during Thanksgiving. I was like, yeah, we haven't done anything in a while together. Let's go watch a Disney movie. And she's like, oh my god, that sounds like fun. I was like, yeah, my sister's gonna watch a Disney movie. I was like really excited. I was like, yeah, doing stuff with my sister. I don't get to do this that often. And then it just kind of ended up that everyone ended up going. And then I had to pay for all of them because it was like, yo, show your relatives a good time. And I'm like, oh, I wish I had the money to do that.
You could have like ditched them maybe before you got to the
Yeah,
theater.
but then I would have looked rude in front of my sister, and everyone
You would
was
have
kinda
saved
on
money.
board.
Y'all wanna
I
do a
would
question
have.
before we close out.
So what?
Again, I was a bit of a troublemaker as a young boy, and that even persisted into high school. I remember my grandmother and my mom, my older sister, my little sister and I, and then my auntie and her kids. My grandmother was like, "Hey, let's all go see a movie," and we all went to go see some David Livingston movie. And he's a missionary and famous with Christians and stuff. And this is when they're around the same time as 300 is playing at the movie theater. And I'm like, let's go see 300. And they're like, no, we're gonna go see David Livingston because we're a bunch of Christians. And I'm like, okay. So we're sitting in the theater. My seat sucks. My back actually hurts. This is torture. I'm just sitting there. Like, I actually fell asleep in the movie because I was like, this is that boring. And I remember being like, Mom, I gotta use the bathroom. And she's like, okay, don't you sneak off at C300. And I'm like, it's exactly what you did.
Why not?
And I'm watching 300 right with the scene with the Persians clashing with the Spartans. And I'm like, yeah. But in the corner of my eye, I see my mom's head moving through this area. I'm like, oh, fuck. She's like, Leonidas! He came to the theater. Find me.
God. I think to end this podcast here tonight, I think we can all agree that the ultimate Disney villain song is, in fact, Let It Go.
Okay.
It was going to be.
Yeah.
Wait, was it going to be? Was she going to be a villain?
Yeah, she was going to be a
Elsa
villain.
was going to be the villain, but then they wrote Let It Go, and they're like, no, we like her too much now.
Yeah.
I'm saying villain song, not that in context of her actually being a villain, but in fact that is the most evil song in existence.
Oh, you hush.
I
With
think
that,
that would
ladies.
actually been really interesting. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. End the show. Go ahead.
Wow, you stopped me at ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap.
Only the ladies.
We will be back here on July 11th. So a week after 4th of July. Hope everyone has a wonderful 4th of July. We'll hear stories about what everyone did. If you don't do anything, that's cool too. But be safe no matter what you do. I want to thank the live audience, of course, our delayed audience, those watching on YouTube. And yeah, that's a wrap here. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Dem pony.
Have a pleasant sleep.
Bye.